It's you. Yimo saw that it was the icy-cold female cultivator Bingyu and put away Zishu. It's you. Yimo saw that it was the icy-cold female cultivator Bingyu and put away Zishu. The female cultivator glanced coldly at Yimo and asked, "You don't want to live? What do you mean?" Yimo raised a brow and questioned coldly. He almost released Zishu again. Did this woman think she was powerful just because she was an abstruse immortal? She was a mere abstruse immortal primary stage. That's Gong Hua, Heaven's Freedom King's chariot. You don't move aside and instead you charge up. If you want to die, you might as well kill yourself without dragging our extreme sword sect into it, Bingyu said emotionlessly. Just when Yimo wanted to speak, he heard Bingyu sneer. Shut up. Then she stood on her flying magic artifact and looked down, saying nothing. Yimo suddenly felt a powerful force sweep over. He uncontrollably shivered. There was an icy spirit sense that shivered even his soul. It was as though the next moment his soul would run out of his body and even his golden page world would seep out. Yimo was shook, and just when he wanted to use the three-birth chant, he suddenly realized he must not use three-birth chant here no matter what. If he did, everything was exposed. Sweat dripped from his forehead, his entire body became drenched. Just when Yimo didn't know what to do, the spirit sense swept past his body. It was just a few seconds, but Yimo felt like it had been a few centuries. There was such a powerful immortal in the world. Just who was this Freedom King? The immortal sound left, and Yimo didn't even have the courage to chase up and scan with his spirit sense. He was certain that if he did, he would die. When the immortal music completely disappeared, Bingyu still stood there not moving. Yimo didn't move seeing this. 5 minutes later, Bingyu glanced coldly at Yimo and was about to fly forward on her flying magic artifact. Yimo just realized that this woman just saved his life. Otherwise, if he charged up recklessly, he would have been killed by a beam of spirit sense already. Even if he wasn't killed, all his secrets would be exposed for sure. Martial sister Bingyu, thanks for saving my life. Yimo was truly thankful to her. Bingyu looked plainly at Yimo and didn't answer. She was prepared to leave. Yimo quickly asked again, "Martial sister Bingyu, who is this Freedom King? What is his power?" Bingyu frowned and said, "The Freedom King is called Fang Bishan. He's an immortal king. Even the Heaven Lord of Gong Hua Heaven has to move aside when seeing him. Immortal king power? Immortal king was this powerful?" Yimo thought of that blue-dressed female cultivator. Wasn't she a status immortal too? Why wasn't she that powerful? Was she not an immortal king? Seeing Yimo daze on the side, Bingyu ignored him and was prepared to keep going when another dashing light came. "Martial sister Bingyu, you went so fast. When I went to find you, Martial uncle said you had left already. I finally caught up to you now." A joyful voice sounded. Yimo woke up and realized that he knew this cultivator. It was that male cultivator he met at the gates of Extreme Sword Sect, the abstruse immortal primary stage. He seemed to be some martial brother Wu. "So you came out with Pill Master Yi, that's good. If it wasn't that Pill Master Yi's flying magic artifact is a little weaker, I really wouldn't be able to catch up to you." The male cultivator saw Yimo and smiled. Yimo suddenly really disliked this martial brother Wu. There was clearly a sliver of jealousy in his eyes, but he acted really happy. He said his flying magic artifact was bad, but his was only a middle-grade flying immortal artifact. Martial brother Wu. Bingyu was surprised. She didn't expect this guy to still catch up when she left early. Yimo wanted to laugh. This martial brother Wu stuck to Bingyu everywhere. Yimo was thinking, what was anything good about this icy-cold woman? Although she was the #1 prettiest woman in the immortal realm he had seen so far, she was too lacking in facial expression. Yimo didn't talk, he couldn't be bothered. He was an immortal forgery master. When he reached Immortal Forgery Great Master, he could upgrade his flying magic artifact to middle grade at any time. Martial brother Wu was happy seeing Yimo didn't answer him. "Pill Master Yi will perhaps be our Extreme Sword Sect's member, so I'll introduce myself. I'm Hai Chuanwu, the great disciple of Greenfall Peak. Martial sister Nianmei is a bright jewel of our sect, congratulations." How could Yimo not know what he meant? He thought he came out with Bingyu. Yimo casually saluted with his fists. "Ha ha. Seeing that Yi Mo didn't seem to welcome him much, Hai Chuanwu thought that Yi Mo was annoyed he stopped the private time between him and Bingyu, so he said again, "Pill Master Yi's luck is really good, winning with a middle-grade immortal pill. Everyone in the sect is amazed at Pill Master Yi's luck. If I had Pill Master Yi's luck." Sigh. Yi Mo didn't offend this guy, but because he liked Bingyu he berated him in front of her. Yi Mo disliked this guy more and more. Comparatively, Gongsun Jiyu was much better. He then said calmly, "Don't even think about my luck, you will never have it in your entire life. Didn't your master teach you, luck is a type of power?" Hai Chuanwu didn't expect Yi Mo to be so straightforward. He frowned, but thinking about what Yi Mo acted like at the competition, he immediately categorized Yi Mo as vulgar. Bingyu was shook. She thought of her master's analysis. Was this Pill Master Yi really keeping a low profile? Was his luck really, as he said, a part of his power? Hai Chuanwu wasn't annoyed, however, he was happy. Yi Mo was immature like the Qian Beis in the sect said. He was like a little kid, there was no way Bingyu would like such a person. Thinking about this he said calmly, "That's true, I rely on hard work, I don't have Pill Master Yi's luck power." He then said, "Where does Pill Master Yi want to go? If you need my help, just say it. No need martial brother Wu, go where you please. I can solve my own things." Yi Mo rejected without hesitation. He thought Yi Mo was with Zhen Bingyu, how could he agree to go? He quickly said, "How can that do? Nianmei is the daughter of our sect leader and you're the one she chose, I must help. After helping you, I'll leave with martial sister Bingyu." Yi Mo frowned, he was going to Chaos Star Realm for trial, why did this Hai Chuanwu pester him? "I'm going to take a shit martial brother Wu, do you still want to help?" Yi Mo was annoyed. Hai Chuanwu's face went green. He didn't expect Yi Mo would say such words in front of Bingyu, this was too insulting. Bingyu heard this and still had a calm face, but she didn't want to stay here anymore. She said to Hai Chuanwu, "Martial brother Wu, you guys talk. I'll be going." Then she flew off and sighed, he didn't deserve martial sister Nianmei. She even began to disregard her master's suspicions. At this moment, Hai Chuanwu realized that Yi Mo wasn't with Bingyu. He glared at Yi Mo and chased up. Only then did Yi Mo realize why Hai Chuanwu had to follow him. This kid thought Bingyu must be on the same journey with him. After they had disappeared, Yi Mo chose a direction and flew off. He was thinking about that terrifying Freedom King. If he was in front of such a person, his golden page world would be exposed for sure. After they had disappeared, Yi Mo chose a direction and flew off. He was thinking about that terrifying Freedom King. If he was in front of such a person, his golden page world would be exposed for sure. It wouldn't be as simple as him dying. Everyone related to him would be killed. Everything inside the golden page world was invaluable. If it was revealed, how could that powerful being not kill everyone he knew to shut everyone up? An immortal king was already this terrifying, what about immortal monarchs and immortal emperors? If Lu Zhengquan reached immortal king, how was he to survive? Yi Mo sighed, it wasn't bad that he met the Freedom King this time, at least he was alert now. He realized that if he didn't reach status immortal he would still be an insect. He shouldn't try to come in contact with those powerful beings, even coming to the extreme sword sect was dangerous. Qin Peifu and them had no ill will towards him, but if they did and tried to check him with their spirit sense, who knows what would happen? He was too arrogant, Yi Mo told himself. He had decided that he would stay at the Chaos Star Realm and not come out unless he reached higher cultivation level. The immortal realm was very fascinating, but it wasn't a place a small golden immortal could have fun. Yi Mo sped up and felt even more desperate to go there. At the main peak of the extreme sword sect, Qin Nianmei acted like a little kid who did something wrong, looking down at the ground while a man stood in front of her. "Who is that, Yi Mo? How do you know him? Is he really your Dao partner?" Qin Peifu asked with a sliver of seriousness in his tone. "Dad, I've said it many times, why don't you believe me? He's just like that, he's not disrespecting you, I've brought it up to him many times. Even though he doesn't change, I can't just give up on him," Qin Nianmei explained. Seeing her father's face ease, she quickly told him everything about how she met Yang Tandao. "I was at a marketplace in Hailan Immortal City, he was setting up a pill stall, After a long while, Qin Nianmei finished and Qin Peifu nodded. That Yi Mo isn't very mature, but he's indeed a prodigy to be able to beat Gong Sun Yin's disciple. He's a level 3 immortal pill master now, he might accomplish far more in the future. So, Nianwei, you need to work hard yourself now. You need to quickly reach abstruse immortal and break through to great immortal. Dad, Qin Nianmei groaned. He just beat that Gong Sun Jiyu by luck. If he tried again, he might lose. Oh, so you're saying Gong Sun Zhiyu is better than him? Qin Peifu asked. No, I don't mean that. I mean, his future would definitely be stronger than Gong Sun Jiyu's. Qin Nianmei waved her hand quickly. Qin Peifu suddenly said seriously, you need to find out who he is. Although it seemed very lucky, afterwards when I thought about it, he might have intentionally done that. That win was too lucky. If he did that on purpose, then this pill master Yi is too terrifying. You need to be careful in dealing with such a person. You need to know what he wants. Qin Nianmei wanted to laugh. Dad, don't worry, I know where this person came from and what he does. He definitely won by luck. Qin Nianmei suddenly felt things weren't right. She was talking about Yi Mo, he had nothing to do with her now. She should be caring about Yang Tandao. When she traveled with Yang Tandao, she never asked where he came from. Qin Peifei nodded. Indeed, it's not quite possible he did it on purpose. You took a space laceration rune, did you give it to him to go to the Chaos Star Realm? Yes, Qin Nianmei admitted. As though fearing her dad would tell her off, she added, he said he would go after reaching Golden Immortal Tertiary Stage. Qin Peifu nodded. Not bad, he has perseverance and the will to fight, he's a pill master too. Nianmei, I feel like Yi Mo is a very good choice. His character is a bit lacking, but that isn't the most important. Farstar Castle. This was no castle nor immortal city nor town. This was just a huge square with countless stalls. The only thing was that one side was covered in mist and one's spirit sense couldn't scan in. To be specific, it was a void. There were many cultivators talking at the border of the square or walking around the stalls. There was a huge teleportation formation in the middle. Cultivators were constantly teleported here or teleporting away. Everyone knew this was the entry to the Chaos Star Realm. This square was the nearest square to Chaos Star Realm in Extreme Wind Heaven. The people here didn't go in immediately as they were grouping up. Each group would gather a certain amount of people before heading in. This way, even if they encountered a void hurricane or void beasts, they would be able to help each other. Another thing was that if they used their space laceration runes together, they would have a higher chance to open the space to the Chaos Star Realm. If one person came to the space barrier at the Chaos Star Realm, there wasn't a high probability of him tearing open the barrier to the Chaos Star Realm even with the rune. Some squads with enough people walked towards the mist under the captain and quickly disappeared. Some squads even put up signs requesting what sort of power and what sort of flying magic artifacts they had. Yi Mo reached the teleportation formation at Gonghua Heaven in just 5 days, as his blue moon wasn't much slower than even middle-grade flying immortal artifacts. Yi Mo immediately took the teleportation formation to Farstar Castle. Walking out of the teleportation formation, Yi Mo felt a little dizzy. This teleportation distance was extremely far, even he felt dizzy. He wouldn't even be able to make even one formation flag for such a teleportation formation. Why is he here? Does this guy want to go the Chaos Star Realm too? Hai Chuanwu immediately noticed Yi Mo. They didn't have enough people yet. Zhen Bingyu also looked at Yi Mo in confusion. She didn't understand why Yi Mo came here too. Didn't he have something important to do? Was it to come here? Yi Mo was a mere golden immortal primary stage, it was suicide to come here. Yi Mo scanned the square with spirit sense and the words Farstar Castle floated in the middle. There were many cultivators here, but Yi Mo soon found he was the weakest. Those immortals with stalls were at least golden immortal tertiary stage. Most of the cultivators in the square were abstruse immortals. There was not a single golden immortal middle stage, much less a primary stage cultivator. So he was the weakest here. Yi Mo rubbed his nose speechlessly. His spirit sense saw Bingyu and Hai Chuanwu too, but he didn't want to go over and talk. He had nothing to do with their sect now. Yimo walked up to a golden immortal peak stage cultivator and saluted with his fists. Friend, is this the place towards the Chaos Star Realm? The golden immortal peak stage looked at Yimo and nodded. That's right, this is Far Star Castle. You leave from here to go to the Chaos Star Realm. How do you go in? Yimo asked. The golden immortal peak stage didn't mind. Many cultivators came here for the first time. The only thing was that this cultivator's power was too low. He pointed at the misty side. Go from there, fly for half a month to a month and you can see the barrier to the Chaos Star Realm. Use your space laceration rune with people and you can go in. Thank you, friend. Yimo thanked him and immediately headed to the misty side. The golden immortal was dumbfounded and murmured, he won't be going there alone, right? Zhen Bingyu already felt it was strange that Yimo came here at Golden Immortal Primary Stage, but seeing him about to go in alone after asking a few questions, her jaw dropped. She really didn't expect there to be someone this cocky. Even abstruse Immortal Peak Stage or Great Immortals rarely went in alone. Did this guy come here to seek death? Zhen Bingyu already felt it was strange that Yimo came here at Golden Immortal Primary Stage, but seeing him about to go in alone after asking a few questions, her jaw dropped. She really didn't expect there to be someone this cocky. Even abstruse Immortal Peak Stage or Great Immortals rarely went in alone. Did this guy come here to seek death? The nearby Immortals were also dazed, but soon most of them realized that this new Golden Immortal Primary Stage didn't know the rules. He thought he could go in alone. What an idiot. But no one reminded Yimo, it was a good show for them. People were too bored. A Golden Immortal Primary Stage cultivator's life meant nothing to them. Yimo felt something was wrong, but he couldn't tell where. He didn't feel that Golden Immortal cultivator was lying to him and his instinct felt that he would reach the Chaos Star Realm if he went any more forward. Just when he was about to go in, a faint blue figure stopped in front of him. You want to die? A crisp cold voice sounded again. Yimo looked and it was that Bingyu again. This was the second time she said you want to die. But this time, Yimo didn't get angry. She had saved him before indeed. Martial sister Bingyu, I'm living quite well, why would I want to die? Yimo asked plainly. Zhen Bingyu grunted, you think all the people here aren't going to the Chaos Star Realm? Why don't they leave? Why? Yimo subconsciously asked. Zhen Bingyu said coldly, it's indeed the heaven domain void if you go in there. Unless you're a great immortal, going in alone is like suicide. And, the barrier for the Chaos Star Realm can only be activated when tens or even 100 people use their runes together. Yimo looked around at the cultivators here and realized how bleak they were all watching him like a fool. No one came up to warn him. Thank you, Martial Sister Bingyu, you saved me again. Yimo didn't believe he would die going into the heaven domain void, but if he didn't go with anyone his space laceration rune would be useless. Zhen Bingyu didn't look at Yimo and just went back to where she was. Yimo saw a skinny golden immortal tertiary stage cultivator just turn around too. He immediately politely called out to him, friend, you came to stop me going in, right? The skinny cultivator nodded. Yes, you can't go in there alone. You have to team up. I just wanted to stop you but someone already did. Thank you. I'm Yimo, a solo cultivator. Yimo saluted with his fists. The skinny cultivator returned in the same manner, I'm Kui Mingli, I come from UWN Heaven's Great Extreme Immortal Sect Daostar Sect. I've found a team already, you should hurry and find one. Seeing him go back, Yimo breathed easy. This Kui Mingli clearly was a warm-hearted cultivator. There were so many cultivators who saw him about to go in alone, but only Bingyu and this guy stopped him. But Yimo knew why Bingyu stopped him, it was due to Qin Nianmei. Otherwise, she definitely wouldn't come out, but even so, Yimo was grateful to her. Even though Yimo didn't want to form a team, he had to find one. Otherwise, no one would take him in with his power. Yimo scanned around and was disappointed, he didn't match the requirements. The lowest requirement was Golden Immortal Tertiary Stage and have at least a low-grade flying immortal artifact. He had one, but he was a far cry from Golden Immortal Tertiary Stage. An ordinary Golden Immortal Primary Stage would take at least a few thousand years to reach Golden Immortal Tertiary Stage. Some talented cultivators would only need a few hundred years, extreme examples could do this in a few decades. Yimo could only walk towards a sign asking for Golden Immortal Tertiary Stage. It was a Golden Immortal Peak Stage cultivator. He saw Yimo come over and frowned. "Can I join your team?" Yimo saw the frown and sighed but still asked. The Golden Immortal Peak Stage was very polite. "Sorry, the lowest requirement is Golden Immortal Tertiary Stage, you're only Golden Immortal Primary Stage." "I believe I won't drag the team behind," Yimo said. The Golden Immortal Tertiary Stage shook his head and said nothing. Yimo asked a few more and he was rejected by them all. No one wanted to take a Golden Immortal Primary Stage who would drag the team down. Some squads had enough people and began to go in. Hai Chuanwu saw Bingyu stare at Yimo and asked, "How about we let Pill Master Yi come to our squad?" Bingyu asked coldly, "Did he ask for your help?" Hai Chuanwu felt uncomfortable seeing Bingyu stop Yimo, but hearing this, he felt very satisfied. But he still sighed and said nothing. Bingyu indeed didn't want Yimo to join her squad. To her, Yimo would die no matter what squad he joined. It was better for him to not let him join a squad as he would go back and not die. Seeing that he still had to go in alone, Yimo shook his head helplessly. Kui Mingli saw Yimo couldn't find a team and worried for him too. Martial Brother Chen, that Golden Immortal Primary Stage, Kui Mingli didn't even finish before he was interrupted by the abstruse Immortal Primary Stage captain. "Kui Mingli, I took you because your perseverance is good yet you still want to help someone else? If you still want to say that, then please leave." Kui Mingli's mouth was bitter but he didn't dare to say anything. Yimo didn't hear Kui Mingli trying to help him, but seeing the captain reproach him he immediately knew what happened. Yimo felt a little despondent seeing that no team willing to take him. Some cultivators admired Yimo's courage. Daring to go into the Chaos Star realm alone and thinking that he could join a team with Golden Immortal Primary Stage cultivation. If the captain wasn't brain dead, he wouldn't allow such a person. There were so many dangers out there and if one person dragged the team back, it would be a ticking time bomb. As more and more teams left, Yimo knew it was probably very hard to find someone to take him. At this moment, the teleportation formation lit up again and a few thousand people were teleported back. Yimo was confused why so many cultivators came when he heard other people discuss. "This is the Extreme Heavens sect joining up to trial together. I didn't think there would be this many. Less than 3,000 for a heaven domain, this isn't much." True, it's said that the reward for the top 10 is very juicy. Yimo scanned with spirit sense and found that the leading person was indeed a Great Eternity Immortal and a few Great Extreme Immortals. The Great Eternity Immortal said to the few thousand cultivators, "The time frame for this trial is 2 years. 2 years later we will be calculating results here. The Chaos Star realm is full of danger, I hope you guys can help each other. Okay, I've said enough, time for you to form teams and go in." Soon, the cultivators formed into small groups and went in. Zhen Bingyu glanced at Yimo and followed her squad into the heaven domain void. In a short time, there were only a few cultivators waiting to form a team and there were the stall cultivators. These cultivators waiting were all higher cultivation level than Yimo, so Yimo clearly couldn't team up with him. In a short time, there were only a few cultivators waiting to form a team and there were the stall cultivators. These cultivators waiting were all higher cultivation level than Yimo, so Yimo clearly couldn't team up with him. Seeing Yimo frown, a stall keeping Golden Immortal sighed. "Friend, your power is currently too low. Even if someone takes you on a team, it might not be good for you to go in." Yimo saluted with his fists to that cultivator. "Thank you." Then, he walked into the mist without hesitation. Everyone was dazed. They didn't expect this ordinary Golden Immortal Primary Stage was this persistent. No one took him on a team so he was going in alone. He already knew the danger and yet he was still going in. Did he not fear death? There were many cultivators who didn't fear death in the immortal realm, but there wasn't a cultivator who knew certain death and still went its way. Those few great immortals were shook too. When they learned of the situation, they all shook their heads. Pity. One great extreme immortal looked at Yimo's figure disappearing into the mist. He has a heart of cultivation that dares to compete, but not a calm brain. Even if he doesn't die in there, he will die somewhere else. Nothing to feel pity about. That great eternity immortal shook his head. If it was before he saw the Freedom King, Emo might hesitate, but now he knew that if he couldn't improve his power rapidly, he was meat on the chopping block that anyone could cut. He didn't even have the right to form a squad with people here. Emo looked calm, but he wasn't on the inside. He needed power. He was going to tell everyone that he, Emo, could still go in the Chaos Star realm even if he didn't have a team. Plus, if he was scared of everything and didn't dare to fight for it, how could he be an immortal? After going into the mist, the Far Star Castle immediately disappeared, even his spirit sense couldn't see it. He was in a dull grey void. There were asteroid lights that colored the sky a little. Emo released Blue Moon and carefully charged into the void. He was very careful but not scared. He had been to the Void Fissure alone, ran amongst Void Windblades, took a shower in Void Flame, and practiced body refinement in Void Sand Whirlpools. Even though the void here was countless times stronger than the Cultivation Realm's void, his power was also countless times stronger. Half a day later, Emo saw no danger. There were just an occasional few void windblades and a few meteors, but they didn't harm him at all. Emo wasn't scared of these, he was scared of void disposition the most. It would be certain death for him. Emo believed there was no void disposition, as if there was, there wouldn't be so many void immortal beasts here. 2 days later Emo didn't loosen up at all. He just dodged tens of meteors today and saw countless flashing red lights. Those red lights could blink and a foul stench came over. Emo knew these were the void immortal beasts. There were countless blinking red lights. They were probably the 3-footed wolves. They lived in the void in large groups. They could cultivate in the void and loved eating cultivator flesh. They would be able to find cultivators who went into the void quickly and surround them. Just when Emo thought of this, countless 3-footed wolves surrounded him. His spirit sense couldn't extend very far here, but he could sense up to a few 100 kilometers away. They were everywhere, other than a few that were at level 1, most were level 2 and a few were level 3. Seeing this, Emo breathed easy. At least there were no level 4 wolves. If there were, he would have to run. Level 4 was equivalent to great immortal power. Fighting against a great immortal wolf with his little golden immortal power was suicide. Even though their offensive power was weak and they only knew a type of windblade, once it was a high enough level, windblades could be lethal too. Howl. Countless wolves howled. Emo released Zishu. He wasn't afraid of group battles. His lightning sword, illusion cloud domain killstrike and heaven flame 9 suns were abilities of mass slaughter. He even annihilated the few 100 million sand soul beasts. There were only tens of thousands of wolves here. Seeing Emo released Zishu, the wolves rustled and attacked at the same time. The circle closed in. Emo didn't dare to use Heaven Flame 9 Suns, it was too taxing on his spirit sense and too much of a waste to use it on wolves. Heaven Flame 9 Suns was best for those spirit bugs or those immortal beasts that feared fire. Of course, when his Heaven Flame 9 Suns reached great completion, he could use it against any immortal beast. Zishu was released, bringing out a faint purple sword ray. The sword ray was pale, but in this dull grey void, it immediately lit up the countless wolves. Those wolves seemed extra snarly under the purple beams. In order to maximize his illusion cloud domain killstrike, he didn't even release his octagonal cauldron. The purple sword Kai divided into tens of 100 meters wide, few 100-meter long sword veils and sliced out. Blood and flesh flew everywhere. Level 2 and Level 1 wolves weren't able to survive under Yemo's sword domain at all. Just that strike and Yemo killed 200 wolves. But Yemo's heart sunk. He found that it was only effective against Level 1 and Level 2 wolves, the Level 3 wolves at most received a wound. But luckily, there were only tens of them. Before Yemo could release Zishu again, the countless wind blades tore his barrier and sword domain and struck on his body. Asterisk splurge. Asterisk as soon as they touched Yemo, they drew blood. The Level 1 wind blades didn't affect Yemo at all. The Level 2 wind blades only could create some marks, but the Level 3 wind blades made a few bloody marks and a spray of blood. Yemo knew he couldn't defend now at all. Defending was only stalling. The longer it stalled, the worse it was for him. Who knew if there would be more to come? If he kept defending, he would eventually die. He could hide in his golden page world, but the level 3 wolves were conscious, and if they spilled this news, it would spell huge trouble. Realizing this, Yimo used his God State body refinement to the fullest extent and hacked out with illusion cloud domain kill strike again and again. In a short time, the surroundings were filled by Yimo's illusion cloud domain kill strikes. There were purple whirlpools in the void space. Wolves were killed non-stop, but Yimo's wounds slowly started to pile up. Yimo kept eating pills and releasing the illusion cloud domain kill strike. He was a blooded man right now. Some of the blood was his, some belonged to the wolves. If he didn't have pills, he would have long collapsed already. As he killed more and more level 3 wolves, Yimo knew that the scale of victory was leaning towards him. Chapter 1573, Crazy Cultivator. Chapter 1573, Crazy Cultivator. Crazy Cultivator void wolves were definitely a type of extremely crazy void immortal beast, but in this even crazier fighting style Yimo was using, they began to go into chaos. As more and more wolves died, their bodies piled up in the void. Some were taken away by the void chaos flow immediately. A few more level 3 wolves were killed by Yimo, and he started to take less and less wind blades. The head wolf at the back felt things weren't right. If things went on like this, these wolves would all die. Just when the head wolf was contemplating whether they should retreat or launch one more ferocious attack, an explosion sounded in the void. In a short time, tens of lightning swords rained down. These lightning swords all struck the level 2 wolves and another group died. The reason Yimo only used it now was because he was scared if he used it too early, his spirit sense and immortal essence would run out. Now that the wolf pack was disordered, they clearly weren't going to last long. Now was the perfect time to use it. Howl. The wolves finally realized Yimo's power. With the howl of the head wolf, the remaining 20,000 wolves rapidly retreated into the void. Yimo breathed easy. If these wolves still didn't retreat, he would be in a worse condition even if he won in the end. He would have to go into the golden page world to recover, but Yimo didn't want to go in. His spirit sense couldn't scan far here. Who knew if there was some powerful being who could see him? This possibility was very small, but he had to be careful. After eating a few pills, Yimo started to take the immortal beast cores of the wolves. After that fight, he killed tens of thousands of wolves. He didn't care about those level 1 wolves, but he took nearly 10,000 level 2 and level 3 immortal beast cores. More bodies were taken away by the void. After an entire day of fighting, his entire body was covered in wounds. But Yimo wasn't worried. He knew that his shape looked bad, but the real wounds were those left by the level 3 wolves. The wounds left by the level 2 wolves were very shallow and begun to heal with the immortal pills. The level 3 wolves' offensive power was far weaker than ordinary level 3 immortal beasts. Otherwise, he would be in a much more serious condition. The void was indeed full of danger. Yimo realized now why these people formed teams. If there was a team of a few hundred people, they wouldn't fear this wolf pack at all. He was by himself, so he was considered food to those wolves. The only reason he could beat so many wolves was because he was God State middle stage body refinement. Otherwise, what could he do but hide in the golden page world? Yimo put Zishu on his back and not in his storage ring. There was too much danger here. With the experience of fighting those wolves, Yimo made Blue Moon fly even faster. 3 days later, he encountered an asteroid group. These asteroids came at him like the wolf pack, sealing all directions of escape. This time, Yimo released the octagonal cauldron. Although he was heavily injured by the asteroid collisions, he still made it through. He encountered a few void sword rays, but they weren't very powerful and just gave Yimo a few more wounds. After this series of void danger, Yimo realized the importance of body refinement even more. If he wasn't God State body refinement, he would be dead already. Half a month later, Yimo emerged from a void formation covered in wounds. This void formation enclosed an asteroid that was tens of thousands of square kilometers and nailed it to the void. Some light seeped out of the formation. Outside the formation, there were the golden words Chaos Star Realm Asteroid Door. There was a wave-like barrier. Yimo guessed it was the barrier to entering the Chaos Star Realm. Yimo breathed easy. For the last half-month, he had been fighting with his life every day in the void, but it wasn't without its benefits. His immortal essence and spirit sense were trained, and so was his body. He was just one step away from God State Tertiary stage. Yimo walked into the void formation and landed on the huge asteroid. He found there were more than 1,000 cultivators here, some were resting and more took out their runes ready to go in. A few extreme ones came here to do business. This was both the entrance and the exit. These cultivators who came here risked a lot of danger, but their profits were huge. Many cultivators who come out would try to sell the extra things they had immediately. Yimo's arrival caught the attention of almost all the cultivators here. These cultivators all came in groups. No cultivator below Great Immortal could come here alone. Even Great Immortals usually didn't want to cross here alone. Immortal beast packs, asteroids groups, wind blade waves. These all needed many people to stop. Yet these cultivators saw Yimo come here alone. Almost all cultivators were completely dazed. They didn't dare to believe what they saw. No one took Yimo on a team. Many people knew this, but they didn't expect this golden immortal primary stage really dared to come. Yimo was covered in wounds and blood. His ordinary low-grade immortal artifact hung across his back. He didn't look like an immortal, he looked like a mortal martial artist. Despite his blood and messy hair, the sharp ferocious kai that emanated from him was like a sharp sword that was pulled out of its sheath. Was he really this powerful? Or was he just too lucky? Some cultivators started to think. Some of them were injured, but none were injured like Yimo or had such dense killing kai. Yimo scanned his spirit sense out. He didn't see Kui Mingli and immediately knew he probably went inside the Chaos Star realm. There were cultivators who died, but they were usually less than 10%. Yimo didn't believe that Kui Mingli was that unlucky. He saw a few cultivators doing business and so he walked over. Asterisk thud thud. Asterisk Yimo's footsteps weren't heavy, but it felt like he stepped on the hearts of these cultivators. Those few captains who rejected Yimo looked at him in shock. They believed that Yimo was no match for them, but hearing his footsteps made them feel suffocated. He was probably lucky and only met a few level 1 or level 2 immortal beasts. Otherwise would he be able to get here? Zhen Bingyu hadn't gone in yet. Just when she was about to go in, Yimo came here in such a shocking manner. She had seen too many crazy cultivators, but today she realized that compared to Yimo those people were at most fighting with their lives. Yimo was giving his life away but he crossed the void and didn't die. This pill master Yi is really lucky and bold. But if something happens to him, martial sister Nianmei will, sigh. Hai Chuanwu saw Zhen Bingyu look at Yimo with shock and said, "Emit him." Zhen Bingyu just subconsciously nodded. She was still thinking about how Yimo came here. She didn't feel Yimo hid his power. Seeing Zhen Bingyu still stare at Yimo, Hai Chuanwu felt bored and took out the rune. "Martial sister Bingyu, should we go in now?" She even forgot to answer, but she clearly heard Yimo ask for the price of an immortal beast core. The golden immortal even got up and saluted with his fists to Yimo. A level 1 immortal beast core is around 30 to 80 top-grade immortal crystals, level 2 are around 100 to 300, level 3 about 1000 to 2000 immortal crystals. So expensive? Yimo was dazed. Chapter 1574. Only with power did respect come. Chapter 1574. Only with power did respect come. Those level 1 immortal beast cores were wasted. Yimo felt pity. He didn't take them because he thought they weren't worth any money. In the Blackweed town, a level 1 immortal beast core was at most a few top-grade immortal crystals. Why was the price here so high? It's not. The immortal beasts here are void immortal beasts. Their beast cores contain a sliver of void kai. If you concoct pills with such beast cores, the level of the immortal pills will be higher and it's beneficial in helping cultivators cultivate space magic. So this was it. Yimo nodded. He took out 4 3-feet wolf beast cores and asked, "How much for these?" He thought that Yimo would take out tens of immortal beast cores seeing that he was covered in wounds, but Yimo only took out 4. He felt disappointed but he still said politely, "These are the beast cores of the very common 3-feet immortal wolves. I'll give you 130 top-grade immortal crystals for these 3 level 2 ones. As for this level 3 one, I'll give you 1100 top-grade immortal crystals. What do you think? Okay. Then Yimo waved his hand and a stack of beast cores appeared before this cultivator. Count and calculate. Those cultivators saw Yimo only take out 4 wolf beast cores and more than half of the shock in their eyes disappeared. It seemed that this golden immortal primary stage was only lucky. But no one scorned him. A golden immortal primary stage could kill 3 level 2 and 1 level 3 beasts. It was normal that he was heavily injured. Even Zhen Bingyu breathed easy. She finally realized why Yimo could come here. It was luck. Any golden immortal primary stage who only encountered these would be able to get away. But when Yimo stacked up such a large pile of 3 feet wolf beast cores, these thousands of cultivators took a cold breath in and looked at Yimo in disbelief. No one would believe that Yimo killed all these by himself. Even a team wouldn't be able to do that. The wolves' attacks were weak and simplistic, but there were so many of them. There were nearly 10,000 beast cores here and most of them were level 2, some even level 3. Could one person kill all these? Even an abstruse immortal wouldn't be able to kill so many and get this many beast cores. But if he didn't do it, who did? The wolves like to live in packs. They couldn't think that the wolves all spasmed upon seeing Yimo, or that someone was nice enough to leave all these beast cores for this golden immortal primary stage. I finally understand why he said what a waste, one cultivator exclaimed. Why? He threw away all the level 1 beast cores and now that he realized the price was this high, he felt it was a waste. People took in cold breaths. There were so many level 2 beast cores, just how many level 1 beast cores did he throw away? If he was there at the time, he would be rich. Seeing the business cultivator still dazed, Yimo frowned and asked, "Do you want them or not? If you do, hurry up and count, if not, I'll find someone else." Yes, the cultivator quickly said. The cultivator quickly finished and said respectfully, "There are 8,030 level 2 beast cores and 13 level 3 beast cores. This is 1,058,200 top-grade immortal crystals." Facing an immortal who could kill tens of thousands of wolves, he didn't dare to show any disrespect. This many immortal crystals. The cultivators took a cold breath in. This guy just went for a spin in the void and got so many immortal crystals. If there was so much to earn, why even go to the Chaos Star realm? Yimo took the 1,000,000 immortal crystals and was very satisfied. It seemed cultivation was about going around and finding cultivation resources. Only then would he have more fortune. The cultivators around here fell silent. Even an idiot could tell that Yimo killed all those wolves. I didn't expect him to be this strong, such crowd attacking power, he's even stronger than her. Zhen Bingyu took in a cold breath. But she knew Yimo didn't hide his power or the great immortals at Extreme Sword Sect would know. To be able to kill so many, it meant that he either had a secret technique or a powerful rune. She doubted that Yimo killed them with his own power. This was just too unbelievable. After all, Yimo was only golden immortal primary stage. It was possible if he used other means. In the immortal realm, there were many powerful runes, but they were just very hard to get. If it was a rune made by an immortal emperor, then 10 times more of the wolves would still be nothing. Yimo didn't go with other people to put the rune into the void immediately. He just closed his eyes, ate a few pills, and started to rest. He had been fighting non-stop in the void, and this asteroid door was for cultivators to rest. At this moment no cultivators dared to disturb Yimo. Even those few abstruse immortal cultivators who suspected Yimo had some secret didn't come up to say anything. 15 minutes later, Yimo suddenly got up. His immortal essence and spirit sense had pretty much recovered. He saw that many cultivators on here had gone and immediately took out his space laceration rune. A golden immortal peak stage standing at the entrance saw Yimo and immediately asked, "Friend, come into the Chaos Star realm with us?" Yimo nodded and stood with this group of cultivators. Zhen Bingyu sighed. This guy couldn't even find a team before, but now there were people inviting him. The leader of this group was an abstruse immortal primary stage. He saw Yimo come over and nodded to him. When I say 1, everyone release their runes at the same time and open the barrier. 3, 2, 1, 300 or so cultivators released their runes at the same time. Yimo did so as well. It seemed there was nothing special about Yimo, but those few abstruse immortal cultivators changed their faces. They were certain now that Yimo killed all those void wolves by himself. Yimo released his rune rapidly and the tear range was larger than multiple cultivators around him combined. These abstruse immortal didn't know that Yimo only used half his immortal essence and spirit sense. He didn't want to show off too much. Yet even with this, his range was much greater than a few golden immortal cultivators combined. Yimo immediately realized what happened. His battles in the void condensed his immortal essence and that Qin Peifu's power was great. His rune was more powerful than the other runes. Scourge like a ripped cloth, the barrier opened a dark void fissure under the explosion of hundreds of runes. Go in, the abstruse immortal said and crossed over. The rest of the cultivators followed. When Zhen Bingyu wanted to see Yimo, Yimo was already gone. She found in shock that she didn't even see when Yimo went in. Martial sister Bingyu, let's go in together, Hai Chuanwu said. Okay. Bingyu nodded, she was done resting. A cool sensation came. This was Yimo's first impression here. He scanned around with his spirit sense. It still couldn't reach max range, but it was much better than in the void. Everything within 1,000 kilometers was encompassed within his spirit sense. There didn't seem to be any life nor danger around him, it was just chaos. A few distant stars decorated the sky, giving this place some life. Everyone, I'll be leaving first. The golden immortal peak stage saluted with his fists to everyone and flew off. The rest of the cultivators started to disperse. Just when Yimo was planning to leave, there was a terrifying howl and the cultivators who hadn't left stared at the direction in shock. A golden immortal tertiary stage was ripped into bloody mist and fell over. Yimo looked dazedly at the place the cultivator died. His spirit sense didn't see anything. Yimo looked dazedly at the place the cultivator died. His spirit sense didn't see anything. There were no void openings nor space wind blades. How could a cultivator die for no reason and in such a bloody manner? Shadowless vulture, one abstruse immortal called out in terror. What is shadowless vulture? One golden immortal tertiary stage asked. The abstruse immortal said seriously, shadowless vulture is human-faced and vulture-bodied. It can fly in the void and is best at hiding its power. Below great immortal, no one can find shadowless vulture with his spirit sense. If a lone cultivator falls into the eyes of the shadowless vulture, it can only await death because it will follow you until it kills you. They love devouring cultivator essence spirit. That cultivator's essence spirit was devoured by shadowless vulture. It's one of the most terrifying beings in the Chaos Star Realm. It's also called the Star Realm Killer. Those cultivators who didn't know about it looked at each other. They just came in and encountered something this powerful. How were they to survive? Shadowless vulture. Yimo had seen this name many times. Feng Chuanmore's jade slip mentioned it. It was just as this abstruse immortal cultivator said, but Feng Chuanmore's brother said it was only in the depth of the star realm. Why was it here? I heard a Qian Bei say it's only in the depths of the realm. Why did we see it as soon as we came in? That abstruse immortal primary stage asked heavily. What do we do? One golden immortal peak stage asked worriedly. We can only form teams and try not to be picked off. We can't fly here, stick to the ground. The shadowless vulture loves ambushing flying cultivators. They feel that they're the overlord of the skies. Any flying cultivator will be considered to be challenging their authority, one cultivator answered. Then, the cultivator looked at Yimo. Before no one wanted to take Yimo on a team, but now they guessed Yimo's power was very powerful. If Yimo could go on a team with them it would be great. Seeing that cultivator look at him, of course Yimo knew what he meant. But he didn't want to form a team, and even if he did, he wouldn't form a team with someone he didn't know. Yimo didn't answer. His spirit sense scanned to the void where the cultivator died. There was nothing there, but suddenly Yimo used his spirit sense blade. Then, there was a faint shadow shrieking as it flew into the sky. So it feared spirit sense blades. Zishu brought out a purple light. Splurge just like that dying cultivator, a blood arrow shot out and the shadow in the sky landed on the ground. A human-faced vulture with huge wings fell to the ground. This bird was 3 meters long. Some cultivators who hadn't left saw Yimo could kill the shadowless vulture and were even more shook. Now, no one doubted him about the wolves. The shadowless vultures had dominated the Chaos Star realm and no one had been able to kill them. Few had even seen what they look like. Yet, this golden immortal primary stage killed one with one strike. Friend, you're good, you can even kill the shadowless vulture. Wang admires your power. That abstruse immortal treated Yimo as someone equal to him now. Those few golden immortal tertiary stages looked at Yimo with some reverence. One golden immortal tertiary stage said to Yimo with admiration, "Martial brother, the shadowless vulture's beast core is the most valuable. The main feathers of its two wings are extreme-grade forgery materials best for flying magic artifacts." Thank you. Yimo really didn't know what parts of it were worth money. Yimo took the beast core and the two main feathers and told that golden immortal cultivator, "The rest is yours." Thank you, Qian Bei. There was surprise and joy in the golden immortal tertiary stage's eyes and he quickly charged up, taking the entire body. To him, only a Qian Bei wouldn't take such things. "I'm going." Then Yimo quickly disappeared into the star realm. So powerful. That abstruse immortal looked at Yimo's figure and approved. That golden immortal peak stage next to him nodded. "Indeed, I rarely hear people can kill a shadowless vulture in here, but a golden immortal primary stage could do it. It's too amazing." The abstruse immortal shook his head. "I think he's not necessarily golden immortal primary stage. Can a cultivator who can force a shadowless vulture out of stealth and kill it be golden immortal primary stage?" Yimo put Zishu on his back. He didn't go on Blue Moon or Zishu. Before understanding how the shadowless vulture ambushed, he really didn't dare to fly. A day later, Yimo didn't find any valuable trial grounds nor any valuable immortal spirit herbs. He didn't even see a shadowless vulture again. This place was like that world where he ascended from. Yimo didn't keep searching. He dug a cultivation home and went in, using the time formation disk to cultivate for a few days before coming out. He thought there was danger everywhere, but now it didn't seem so. 3 days later, Yimo felt the immortal spirit Kai here was getting denser and denser. At this moment, Yimo realized that in order to undergo the trial, one had to go to the depths. On the 4th day, Yimo stopped outside a huge valley. He felt the suction of this valley as though he was going to be sucked in and torn to pieces. "Star Realm Whirlwind?" Yimo murmured. This was one of the most dangerous places in the outskirts of the Star Realm. Ordinary cultivators who got sucked in would be twisted into pieces by the power of the whirlpool. This power was irresistible. It would gradually shed the cultivator layer by layer until bones were left. Even so, the bones would even be turned into fine dust. The strange thing about it was that no matter where you stood, it would take your flesh layer by layer. It wouldn't take your entire body suddenly, but you wouldn't be able to move at all. The force here wasn't something that cultivators below Great Immortal could resist. Yimo didn't retreat because of this. He had chosen a few places for body refinement and this was one of them. He put away Zishu and used God State body refinement to the max, slowly walking into the valley. Yimo couldn't scan his spirit sense into the wind, it couldn't even reach out 3 meters. 10 steps later, the powerful suction ripped away Yimo's armor. After a few more steps, that terrifying lacerating power came. He couldn't move at all now, he could only sit here and let the wind tear at his body. The force swiped from the surface of his body. He used his 3-birth chant to calculate the next steps of the body refinement cultivation method. Yimo approximately knew the immortal realm body refinement cultivation method. In the immortal realm, when cultivators reached Great Immortal their body was equal to God State, but the tenacity and recovery was far from God State body refinement. If a cultivator reached God State peak stage and continued in body refinement, the body wouldn't be able to take it. At this moment, the body refinement cultivator would face his greatest test, that was Nirvana. Only after Nirvana would the body go under fundamental evolution and become an immortal Nirvana body. If a cultivator reached God State peak stage and continued in body refinement, the body wouldn't be able to take it. At this moment, the body refinement cultivator would face his greatest test, that was Nirvana. Only after nirvana would the body go under fundamental evolution and become an immortal nirvana body. So, nirvana was extremely important for body refinement cultivators. Many body refinement cultivators failed nirvana and forever regretted it their entire lives. After nirvana failure, a light consequence would be that they couldn't practice body refinement anymore and could only focus on Tao cultivation. The serious consequences would be that one would only have an essence spirit left. Even with an immortal essence spirit, they would have to find rare treasures to rebuild their body. After that, it was pretty much impossible for body refinement again. If nirvana was successful, the cultivator's body refinement would reach immortal nirvana body. But immortal nirvana body was only an intermediate state. This process was divided into 4 states: primary stage, middle stage, tertiary stage, and peak stage. Once an immortal nirvana body reached peak stage, the body refinement cultivator would officially reach immortal spirit body. This was the greatest hope for immortal realm body refinement cultivators and the greatest they could achieve. An immortal spirit body was also divided into 4 stages. Although for most immortal realm cultivators, immortal spirit body was pretty much the extreme, it wasn't the highest state of body refinement. After immortal spirit body peak stage, one could reach immortal god body, but rarely could cultivators in the immortal realm reach this. Even so, immortal god body wasn't the peak of immortal realm body refinement. After immortal god body peak stage, the body refinement cultivator would reach a peak, and that was divine body. Since the ancient times, it was said that only one cultivator had been able to reach divine body. Yimo didn't plan to reach nirvana now, he just planned to reach God state peak stage and find another place to achieve nirvana. Nirvana not only needed dense immortal spirit kai, but it was also best if there were top-grade immortal spirit herbs. In this whirlwind, even Yimo's body felt pain. Slashes on his body appeared, but Yimo didn't move and kept using the 3 birth chant for body refinement while completing his body refinement cultivation method. 2 months later, Yimo's bones cracked and he suddenly got up. He knew he had reached God state tertiary stage. Now, Yimo felt that the tearing of the whirlpool was much weaker to him. He went a few thousand meters deeper into the whirlpool and continued body refinement. His immortal nirvana body cultivation method was completed and he even reached immortal spirit body primary stage. He just needed to reach God state peak stage and leave. Although he could reach nirvana in the depths of the wind whirlpool, this wasn't the best place nor the best time for nirvana. Plus, without top-grade immortal spirit herbs for nirvana, it wouldn't be good even if he didn't fail. 2 months later, Yimo walked out of the star realm wind whirlpool with a ferocious temperament. He had reached God state peak stage now. He had been in here for a few months and still hadn't found a place for cultivating spirit sense and immortal essence. Body refinement, like cultivation, got progressively harder, even many times harder than ordinary cultivation. Yimo released Blue Moon and started flying slowly. He didn't dare to go very fast, fearing there would be shadowless vultures. Yimo didn't go very fast to begin with, but the deeper he went the faster he went. He formed a spirit sense domain around him. Yimo thought that since spirit sense blades could reveal shadowless vultures, his spirit sense domain could prevent their ambush. It was far from reaching completion like his sword domain, but it could still allow him to sense things. Just when he was thinking about if this would be useful to shadowless vultures, there was a ripple in his spirit sense domain. Yimo shot out multiple spirit sense blades without hesitation. 2 faint shadows appeared before him. Yimo instantly hacked out with Zishu. Purple rays flashed and one shadowless vulture was instantly torn apart. The other flew away rapidly. Yimo took the body and chased towards the other one instead. Yimo was going to kill those who tried to kill him, be it cultivators or immortal beasts, no matter what. If he didn't have a spirit sense domain, he would have been ambushed already. Even though he was God state peak stage and didn't fear the ambush, who knows what would happen? He also heard that they were very vengeful and wouldn't let a cultivator go, no matter what. If he let this one go, it would follow him everyone in the darkness. So Yimo brought Blue Moon's speed almost to the max, and in half a minute, he felt that shadowless vulture in his spirit sense domain again. But it was indeed very fast. Even though he brought Blue Moon's speed to the max, He still couldn't catch up to it, but he felt distance was closing. The shadowless vultures had never expected that they would one day be hunted by cultivators. It had always been them who hunted cultivators. Many golden immortals and abstruse immortals saw Yi Mo hunting that shadowless vulture like crazy and were astonished. These cultivators couldn't see the shadowless vulture, but they could see Yi Mo accelerating like crazy. In a place like the Chaos Star Realm, he dared to go so fast on a flying magic artifact. Did he not want to live? If people could fly in the sky, there wouldn't be all these cultivators walking on the ground. Near a pond, an icy cold female cultivator was holding off against two abstruse immortal cultivators. Yi Mo chased past here and the three saw Yi Mo at the same time. They didn't know why Yi Mo was flying in the air so fast and all showed expressions of shock. Yi Mo saw the three too. He knew one of them, that female cultivator was Bingyu. The two standing off against her were both abstruse immortals too. One of them was the one who introduced the shadowless vulture when he first entered here. The three seemed to be about to fight. Yi Mo didn't have the mood to care about it. He was determined to kill that shadowless vulture. Pill Master Yi, Bingyu called out in shock, but Yi Mo was long gone. Seeing that Yi Mo didn't even stop, Bingyu frowned. Was Yi Mo not afraid of death? Did he not know about the shadowless vulture? That shadowless vulture probably knew he couldn't escape this crazy cultivator and suddenly turned around instead, charging at Yi Mo with rapid speed. Yi Mo sighed. This was completely illogical. It was flying like lightning ahead and then suddenly turned 180 degrees without any pause or decrease in speed. Some ordinary cultivator might have fallen for this, but Yi Mo was ready. He released Zishu and the shadowless vulture charged into his sword Kai. A sharp howl swooshed across the void and that shadowless vulture was hacked in half. After taking its beast core and main feathers, Yi Mo returned the way he came from. He would help Bingyu if he could. After all, this woman saved him twice. Before he even got back, the three people had begun fighting. It was those two abstruse immortals attacking Bingyu. Seeing Yi Mo fly back, the three subconsciously stopped. Yi Mo approved of this Bingyu. She wasn't bad. Friend, long time no see. Seeing Yi Mo land, that abstruse immortal who came with Yi Mo here saluted with his fists. Chapter 1577, Extremely Shameless Person. Chapter 1577, Extremely Shameless Person. Zhen Bingyu's face was cold and didn't say anything. But that abstruse immortal primary stage who didn't know Yi Mo looked at his partner in confusion, not understanding why an abstruse immortal would greet a golden immortal primary stage. Yi Mo smiled and saluted with his fists. Indeed, long time no see. I saw you were going very fast, you seem to be chasing something, that abstruse immortal primary stage asked in confusion. Yi Mo knew there were shadowless vultures. Why did he still go so fast? I was ambushed by that thing and it annoyed me, so I chased up and killed it, Yi Mo said. How could this abstruse immortal not know that the thing was the shadowless vulture? Hearing this, that abstruse immortal cultivator was extremely shook. Yi Mo killed a lurking shadowless vulture, but now he could even chase up and kill them. This guy was probably the first to do this. Yi Mo didn't feel he was very powerful to be able to kill the shadowless vulture. Shadowless vultures only had speed and expertise in stealth, but that was it. Why were the cultivators here so afraid of them? He really didn't understand. In the immortal realm, many cultivators began to use spirit sense attacks. Did the other cultivators not know shadowless vultures were scared of spirit sense cultivation method? Little did he know that there weren't many spirit sense cultivation methods in the immortal realm either. Most immortals could use their spirit sense to attack, as after reaching a certain level of cultivation, their spirit sense was powerful enough to be freely controlled to that extent. However, they wouldn't use it as a main method of attack. It was a method that higher-powered cultivators used to dominate low-level cultivators. Yi Mo knew the importance of spirit sense cultivation method, so he never stopped perfecting his spirit sense cultivation method. Almost all his magic artifacts were related to spirit sense, and his spirit sense's power directly affected his power. Yi Mo would always pursue anything that could improve his spirit sense. Even though he was a golden immortal primary stage now, his spirit sense was no weaker than that of abstruse immortal primary stage cultivators. I'm Wang Yi, I come from UWAN heaven. This abstruse immortal primary stage immediately wanted to connect with Yi Mo. He planned to do so when Yi Mo first killed Shadowless Vulture, but Yi Mo left too quickly and he didn't get the chance. That cultivator with Wang Yi heard this and looked at him with even more confusion. He thought Wang Yi knew Yi Mo before, but now it seemed he didn't. I'm Yi Mo, a solo cultivator, Yi Mo replied and then asked, why did you three have conflict? Wang Yi quickly said, there are 4 6-winged purple radishes in the pond. 6-winged purple radishes? Yi Mo thought and scanned his spirit sense. He immediately saw them growing under a strange rock. These were good things. 6-winged purple radishes were level 5 immortal spirit herbs and had 6 leaves that were like wings. They could be used to concoct the snow wing pill, a pill for curing pill poison. It was a true treasure for all cultivators in the immortal realm. Even Yi Mo was touched. He had a few pill poison remedy pills also, including the stalagmite benefit pill, but the pitiful thing was, ever since he reached the immortal realm, the use of the stalagmite benefit pill dropped greatly. It was a bit useful when he was a hollow immortal, but when he reached golden immortal, it was negligible. He was an immortal pill great master. How could he not be interested? Yes, I saw them first and I was planning to split 2 each with my friend, but this woman saw them and wanted to take 2. Of course we wouldn't agree. Wang Yi respected Yi Mo greatly and said it all. Martial sister Bingyu, since brother Wang found them first, I think maybe you shouldn't take them, Yi Mo immediately said while thinking about how to trade them from Wang Yi. Zhen Bingyu sneered. They found them. Did you see them? If I say I found them first, would you believe it? In reality I found them first. I saw them and immediately came over. They were close and arrived here about the same time. She found them first but she was further away and so they got here at the same time. She only wanted 2 but they didn't want to give a single one to her. How could Yi Mo give up on such a thing? Yi Mo coughed. Martial sister Bingyu, brother Wang, and this friend. Since there are 4 here and you guys can't really divide them, I think everyone who sees them gets a share, so how about 1 each? Hearing this, everyone looked dazedly at Yi Mo. 1 each? This meant that he was asking one for himself. They had never seen someone so shameless. Zhen Bingyu thought, even if someone wanted this, only this Yi dude would be able to say something this shameless. More strangely, this guy was only golden immortal primary stage. If it was some other abstruse immortal, he would have slapped already. Wang Yi was dazed but quickly reacted. Clearly, to dare to bring up such proposal meant Yi Mo didn't fear anyone. Even if they divided 4 amongst 3 they would get at most 1 and a little bit more, so he might as well give 1 to Yi Mo. However, he heard his friend sneer. Before his friend could say anything, Wang Yi quickly said, I agree. Brother Wang, you. The other abstruse immortal primary stage stared at Wang Yi in shock and confusion. You actually agreed to give 1 6-winged purple radish to a golden immortal primary stage? Wang Yi was very contemptuous on the inside. Although this partner came from the same heaven domain as him, he wouldn't care what he thought. If he had conflict with Yi Mo, he wouldn't intervene. He could use this to see Yi Mo's true power. I'm good friends with brother Yi, plus brother Yi's method is good, Wang Yi said. I disagree, that abstruse immortal said without hesitation. Yi Mo ignored him and looked at Zhen Bingyu asking, Martial sister Bingyu, what do you think? Zhen Bingyu calmed down. She wouldn't agree from the bottom of her heart, but thinking Yi Mo became friends with this Wang Yi and was Nianmei's Dao partner, she didn't need to offend Yi Mo. She fell silent for a moment and said, in that case, I'll just have 1. Yi Mo looked at the cultivator. It's 3 against 1, you still disagree? Keep dreaming, the abstruse immortal said coldly and looked at Wang Yi. Brother Wang, I'm going to teach this golden immortal primary stage a lesson. Are you okay with that? Wang Yi's face looked bad. You're both my friends, of course I won't help anyone, but everyone is friends, please stay harmonious. Everyone knew what Wang Yi truly intended, but Yi Mo didn't care. He wasn't afraid of this abstruse immortal primary stage. Okay, this abstruse immortal primary stage Long had enough of this cocky golden immortal primary stage and released his magic artifact. Seeing both Wang Yi and Zhen Bingyu retreat, he settled his heart. He was afraid that woman would help Yimo. Now that she didn't, he planned to kill this cocky golden immortal primary stage as soon as possible. Zhen Bingyu didn't intend to help Yimo indeed, she had helped him many times already. Plus, even though she barely agreed to Yimo taking her purple radish, she still felt uncomfortable. Chapter 1578. Not just fighting beyond his level. Chapter 1578. Not just fighting beyond his level. It was Yimo's first time seeing such a magic artifact, a fist. As soon as the abstruse immortal released this fist magic artifact, the space nearby seemed to be gathered around, making Yimo unable to move in the middle. Yimo smiled. 4 months ago, he would immediately release his octagonal cauldron and then hack out with Zishu, but now he didn't care. That fist wind area seemed like the Star Realm wind whirlpool. Yimo had been in there for a few months, so how could he care about this? The instant the fist space whirlpool formed, it made a loud thud. Countless immortal essence emanated from that huge fist magic artifact, forming countless immortal essence wind flows. They gradually formed into thousands of fist shadows, completely looming over Yimo. The distant pond water was stirred up by the explosive immortal essence power. Zhen Bingyu and Wang Yi realized that this man wanted to kill Yimo with one move. Zhen Bingyu's face changed, he didn't even use this move when fighting with her. There was no way Yimo could move now that he was caught in this. He could only watch as he got killed. Just when Zhen Bingyu wondered whether she should go help, she saw a purple ray hack out from the fist shadows, but it didn't seem to stop this endless fist barrage. The fist shadows still all hit Yimo. Wang Yi was dazed. He thought Yimo had something to be able to hunt shadowless vultures and kill all those wolves. Even if he couldn't beat an abstruse immortal cultivator, he shouldn't be killed in one move. With that many fist shadows, even if it hit an abstruse immortal, it was certain death, much less for Yimo. How could Yimo not know that this abstruse immortal wanted to kill him? Seeing this, he was going to show no mercy. He would take this and retaliate. This could indeed kill an ordinary abstruse immortal, but he was no ordinary abstruse immortal. He had reached God state peak stage. This level of attack might heavily injure him, but if he wanted to end the battle fast, he would trade injury with life. Yimo used his God state body refinement to the extreme and hacked out with Zishu, illusion cloud Hua mountain. He also wanted to kill this abstruse immortal with one move. The abstruse immortal saw that Yimo could still counterattack under his barrage and was worried. He used even more immortal essence. But soon he felt something was wrong. His countless fist shadows seemed to have struck a very sturdy magic artifact. There were just thudding noises, not the shower of flesh and blood he had expected. Not good, a purple figure hacked down. He felt a powerful binding, the abstruse immortal was shook. This was the first time he saw a golden immortal primary stage use a sword domain. In his shock, he couldn't care about killing Yimo. He used the immortal essence in his body like crazy, trying to shift his body away. Splurge blood flashed and this abstruse immortal primary stage's armor and half a shoulder were hacked down. Yimo almost spat blood. He knew that the fist barrage had injured him. He sighed. An abstruse immortal was so much more powerful than a golden immortal. If it was a golden immortal peak stage, this strike would be enough to kill him, but he only took an arm. He could kill the void wolf pack that countless abstruse immortals couldn't kill, but that didn't mean he was stronger than abstruse immortals. That abstruse immortal stared at Yimo in shock. He didn't consider this golden immortal primary stage a threat, but that was his full-powered attack. Even an abstruse immortal wouldn't be able to ignore it, and yet this golden immortal primary stage dared to take it and took off his shoulder and arm. He finally realized why Wang Yi was so polite to this guy. If he knew this guy was this absurd, he wouldn't think of trying to kill him even if he didn't get an immortal spirit herb. He knew his fist shadows trapped Yimo and those terrifying attacks struck his body. Why was he fine? Unless God state body refinement, or even beyond it. The abstruse immortal thought of this and there was terror in his eyes. If Yimo was really God state body refinement or beyond, would he be able to run? Thinking about how he flew across the sky with his magic artifact, the abstruse immortal gave up trying to run. He looked pleadingly at Wang Yi and forgot to even take out a recovery pill. Wang Yi was still in shock. Yimo's power was far beyond his control. Seeing his friend look over, he shook and saluted with his fists. Brother Yi, Wang Chun is my friend. Can you forgive him this time on my account? The cultivation realm and immortal realm were the same. In the wake of power, everything else didn't matter. There was no reason. Yimo nodded. On Brother Wang's account, I'll let him go. Yimo knew that although Wang Chun lost an arm, if they really fought again he would still be injured. It was best to end it here, plus it wasn't good to be heavily injured in here. Wang Yi was a good person, so he might as well give it to him. Plus, he didn't have to kill Wang Chun. If it was him, he wouldn't agree too. Thank you, Brother Yi. Wang Yi didn't expect Yimo to agree and immediately thanked Yimo happily. He picked up the broken arm and gave it to Wang Chun. He felt happy. At least now when he was with Wang Chun he would have more power. Wang Chun quickly ate a few pills and connected the arm back. Zhen Bingyu looked dazedly at Yimo. Now she didn't doubt at all that Yimo killed all the wolves himself. Yimo was clearly a god-state body refinement or beyond to be able to take on that fist magic artifact. Body refinement cultivators were extremely rare and those with accomplishments were rarer. If her master guessed right, then Yimo was an immortal pill great master too. Regardless, easily defeating an abstruse immortal primary stage as golden immortal primary stage, this was unheard of. There were cases of golden immortals beating abstruse immortals, but the most absurd case was golden immortal middle stage. Wang Yi saluted with his fists. I'll go collect the immortal spirit herbs. I'll go do it, Yimo quickly said. That's fine. Wang Yi nodded and didn't move. He didn't think that Yimo didn't believe him. After all, who could go as fast as Yimo in here? Yimo probably wanted to see if there was anything else. Who wasn't smart here? Since level 5 immortal spirit herbs could grow here, who knew whether there was something special? Yimo went first, probably wanting to take whatever supported the growth of the immortal spirit herbs. From his battle performance, neither Zhen Bingyu nor Wang Yi wanted to offend Yimo. Yimo thought so indeed. Brother Wang, thank you for just now. Wang Chun saluted with his fists. Wang Yi was satisfied on the inside but waved his hand calmly. No need, we're all friends. Wang Chun hesitated and sound transmissioned. Brother Wang, who is this Yimo? His golden immortal primary stage and yet he's this powerful? I'm certain he didn't hide his power. Wang Yi looked at Yimo's back but didn't use sound transmission. He said, if you know why Brother Yi flew over so fast just then, you wouldn't want to fight him. Why? Wang Chun whispered this time. Chapter 1579. Just how cocky is he? Chapter 1579. Just how cocky is he? Zhen Bingyu heard this and also listened in. She really wanted to know what Yimo was doing so cockily on the flying immortal artifact. Because he went to hunt shadowless vultures. That shadowless vulture probably ambushed him, so he chased up and killed it. Wang Yi looked at Wang Chun and replied. What? Wang Chun was dazed. There were people here hunting shadowless vultures? Just how cocky was he that he went to fight something like that? Zhen Bingyu was dazed too. She didn't expect Yimo went to hunt shadowless vultures. Was that something that could be hunted? This was the first time she heard this. She felt there were more and more secrets about Yimo. She even wanted to ask if Yimo was Pill Master Great Master. If so, she really wanted to give her share to Yimo for pill concoction. Knowing this, Wang Chun completely lost his attitude. He even gave up the thought of revenge. Yimo was standing opposite the pond now and the 4 6-winged radishes were squeezed in a small rink. There was a mark on the outside and a thin stream of water flowed over. Seeing this, Yimo realized why they appeared here. This was a natural stealth formation and the rock was charged open by the water. After a long time, the rock fell into the lake and thus the 4 immortal spirit herbs could be found with spirit sense. Yimo carefully dug one up and immediately felt the extremely dense immortal spirit kai below it. Yimo felt it with his hands and a cool liquid flew around his finger. Yimo was shook. This was a low-grade hidden ice immortal well. There were many types of immortal wells: low-grade, middle-grade, top-grade and extreme-grade. There were also elemental immortal wells. Other than the 5 elements and wind, lightning, and ice, there were also hidden immortal wells. The reason hidden immortal wells were good and favored was because their purity was high and easily to digest. A low-grade hidden ice immortal well was even better than an ordinary top-grade immortal well. It also had a special feature, and that was that it couldn't be moved away and one must stay here to cultivate. If it was moved, it would become an ordinary immortal well. Yimo calmed his excitement and took the 4 immortal spirit herbs before throwing a stealth formation disc here. Moments later, Yimo came back out. Zhen Bingyu and Wang Yi looked over immediately. Yimo took out 2 radishes and gave one to Wang Yi and one to Zhen Bingyu. Wang Yi gave one to Wang Chun and then saluted with his fists. "Thank you, Brother Yi. If you don't have any plans, how about we go deeper together?" He admired Yimo's power and it would be good if they could go together. Zhen Bingyu didn't leave and waited on the side. Yimo smiled and saluted with his fists. "Brother Wang, I can't go with you. I found a low-grade immortal well down there, so I want to cultivate here for a while." Yimo knew he couldn't hide it from them, so he admitted it. He didn't say it was a hidden immortal well or there might be a battle. Now that Yimo said this, they understood. It was good, but they wouldn't fight over it with Yimo for it. Seeing Zhen Bingyu waiting on the side, he saluted with his fists. "In that case, I'll be going first. Perhaps we'll meet again somewhere in here." Then the 2 left. "Martial Sister Bingyu, thank you for your reminder and saving my life once," Yimo thanked. "No need," Zhen Bingyu said, but she didn't leave. Yimo felt strange. Where was that Hai Chuanwu? Why wasn't he by her side? "If you have nothing else I'm going to cultivate, I just found a low-grade immortal well," Yimo repeated, but she didn't leave. How was he to cultivate? After she left, he would set up a stealth, defense, and even an attack formation. Zhen Bingyu could tell Yimo was implying for her to leave, so she could only say, "Pill Master Yi, you said you were a level 4 immortal pill great master at the sect." Yimo heard this and immediately realized what she wanted. If it was before, he would agree without hesitation because she saved her. But ever since seeing the Freedom King, Yimo's attitude changed. He felt that the reason he hadn't been caught was because his power was too low and he came into contact with low-level cultivators. If he suddenly became an immortal pill great master, many great immortals would come to him. If that was the case, he wouldn't be able to keep his secret. He even regretted helping Feng Chuan more. Yimo rejected without hesitation. "Martial Sister Bingyu, you should know that I said that intentionally. Gongsun Jiyu is a love rival, of course I'm going to ridicule him. If I was really a level 4 immortal pill great master, I would tell Nianmei's father straight up. Would I need to compete?" Zhen Bingyu thought and agreed. If Yimo was truly a level 4 immortal pill great master, he wouldn't even need to compete. If the sect leader knew the son-in-law was level 4 immortal pill great master, he wouldn't even be able to stop laughing. How could he not agree? Zhen Bingyu sighed in disappointment. Gongsun Yin was a level 5 immortal pill great master. Even if he tried to concoct the snow wing pill, he might fail. She only had one. In that case, goodbye. Zhen Bingyu saluted with her fists and was about to leave. Yimo felt ashamed rejecting someone who saved him, but he wouldn't promise to help because of this. This concerned his life. After walking about 10 meters, Zhen Bingyu suddenly turned back and asked, "Are you a body refinement immortal?" Yimo didn't hide this, everyone could tell after that battle. "That's right, I'm a body refinement cultivator. I haven't reached body refinement immortal yet," Yimo answered. Only after Nirvana was one considered a body refinement immortal. "Then where did you get your body refinement cultivation method?" Zhen Bingyu's eyes lit up. He thought she would ask what state he was, but instead she asked this. Yimo answered, "In a rare opportunity one got a jade slip and there was a body refinement cultivation method there." Zhen Bingyu said without hesitation, "Then can you copy one for me? Name your price. If I don't have enough immortal crystals, you can give me a part and I'll give you more when I get back to the sect." Yimo looked at Zhen Bingyu in confusion. Such a beautiful female cultivator wanted body refinement. Yimo had been through body refinement. How could he not know that body refinement required one to be naked and facing life and death in terrifying conditions? If Zhen Bingyu cultivated body refinement, would she be like this? Yimo suddenly felt he was too shameless. He subconsciously patted his head. Seeing Yimo not talk and just slap his head, Zhen Bingyu frowned and asked again, "If it's not okay then never mind." "Of course I can, but you saved me so I don't need immortal crystals. My body refinement cultivation method only reaches immortal spirit body primary stage," Yimo said. There was extreme surprise and joy in Zhen Bingyu's eyes. She didn't expect Yimo had an immortal spirit body refinement cultivation method. Body refinement cultivation methods weren't abundant even in the immortal realm. Chapter 1580, Lust in the Eyes of the Ice Girl. Chapter 1580, Lust in the Eyes of the Ice Girl. "I want it," Zhen Bingyu said without hesitation. Clearly Yimo's body refinement cultivation method was not ordinary. Cultivating to immortal spirit body primary stage was enough for Zhen Bingyu. How many in the immortal realm could reach immortal spirit body? Yimo nodded and took out a blank jade slip, writing down all his body refinement cultivation method. As for the body refinement cultivation method after immortal spirit body, it wasn't that Yimo couldn't calculate it, but he wanted to do it after he reached immortal spirit body. That way, the cultivation method would be more perfect. "Pill Master Yi, thank you. How many immortal crystals for this cultivation method?" Zhen Bingyu just scanned it casually and rejoiced. She came from a big sect, she knew Yimo's body refinement cultivation method wasn't ordinary. Yimo waved his hand. "I've said that this body refinement cultivation method is for saving my life. Don't worry about the immortal crystals, I will take it the next time we have a deal." Zhen Bingyu carefully put the jade slip away and bowed to Yimo. "Martial brother Yi, thank you." This was the first time she called Yimo martial brother. Clearly she was very grateful to Yimo for giving her the cultivation method. Seeing that Yimo had no intention to speak, she said, "Martial brother Yi, Nianmei and Chuanmo are both kind-hearted girls. Dao partner dual cultivation is the cultivation of life. One is enough, more would only be harmful." Yimo patted his head speechlessly. "You've said it once already, I know." Seeing that Yimo was annoyed, Zhen Bingyu sighed. "Martial brother Yi, you're not old but your power is absurd and you're an immortal pill master and a body refinement cultivator. From this it can be seen that your future is limitless. Other than competing, cultivation is also about self-discipline. Lust is just temporary satisfaction. If you hinder your great Tao due to this, you will regret greatly when you wake up." Yimo stared dazedly at this extremely beautiful cold woman. He didn't expect her to be so straightforward. This would be embarrassing for most female cultivators, but she said it so naturally. "Did your master teach you?" Yimo suddenly asked after being dazed for a while. "Yes, because you don't have a master I am saying this to you," Zhen Bingyu said with her never-changing cold face. Yimo waved his hand. "Thank you." He no longer had the will to talk. This woman only had good looks, but other than that she was cold inside and outside. One could imagine her master must be like her too. This time, she said no more and saluted with her fists before quickly leaving. Soon, she disappeared. Seeing her leave, Yimo finally breathed easy. He immediately came back to the well and started setting up formations. First was a stealth formation, second was a defense formation, third was a spirit sense barrier formation and an attack formation. There probably wouldn't be any great immortals here. Even if there were, they wouldn't so coincidentally see this pond. 3 days later, Yimo finished with the formations and set up another touch activation restriction before taking out the time formation disc. Yimo set up the time formation disc and sat on the hidden ice immortal well to start cultivation. Yimo devoured the dense immortal spirit Kai. That extremely pure immortal spirit Kai rapidly washed Yimo's meridians, purifying his immortal essence and condensing his essence spirit. Now, Yimo truly felt the power of three-birth chant. It could digest any element immortal spirit Kai to increase his power, from the pure lightning source to the hidden ice immortal well. At the same time, a blue figure passed the rock forest rapidly. This stone forest was the famous Wind Blade Stone Forest in the Chaos Star Realm. It was one of the best body refinement places here. The wind blades were weaker at the border, but the deeper you went it would be filled with more space wind blades and even space blade tornadoes. This blue figure was Zhen Bingyu. There weren't many great eternity immortal sects with a body refinement cultivation method until immortal spirit body. Even some status immortal sects wouldn't have such things, and yet Yi Mo just threw one to her. Most body refinement cultivation methods were hard to start, and many cultivators couldn't make the first step in their entire lifetime. So before body refinement, Zhen Bingyu was prepared for failure. Zhen Bingyu chose a place with space wind blades that weren't very powerful and let the space wind blades hit her body. She didn't stop them and instead used the cultivation method for the first state, bone state. Immediately, she was shook. She ran her immortal essence along the roots and there wasn't any blockage. In less than 2 minutes, she reached bone state. This body refinement cultivation method is fake? Zhen Bingyu frowned, but thinking of Yi Mo, it didn't seem like he gave her a fake. She didn't stop cultivation and continued to practice the cultivation method. 15 minutes later, she found in shock that she was bone state peak stage. How was this possible? Zhen Bingyu was almost about to curse, reaching bone state peak stage in 15 minutes. Even the best cultivation method and best talent wouldn't be able to do this. Zhen Bingyu looked at her torn clothes. In a moment she only had a very thin layer of armor, but she wasn't embarrassed at all. She let herself stand naked in the wind blades. That curvaceous body would make anyone admire it, but the blood gashes brought upon by such silky smooth body just seemed more shocking. However, Zhen Bingyu was frowning and thinking why Yi Mo gave her a fake body refinement cultivation method. She shook her head and was about to leave, but she found that her body formed a light golden wave as she used the body refinement cultivation method. The injuries instantly recovered. She knew that there would be a golden ripple when one reached bone state peak stage. This situation clearly told her that she reached bone state peak stage. It's real. Zhen Bingyu looked at the golden ripple and was completely dumbfounded. The golden ripple couldn't completely stop the space wind blades, but it could stop them from cutting open her skin. Zhen Bingyu couldn't control her excitement anymore. She shakily took out the jade slip Yi Mo gave her. No wonder Yi Mo's cultivation was so rapid. His body refinement cultivation method was definitely a treasure of this world. Since he could get this, it meant that he got other things such as his pill concoction skills. Reaching bone state peak stage in 15 minutes, if this cultivation method was spilled the entire immortal realm would go crazy. Zhen Bingyu subconsciously shivered and quickly destroyed the jade slip after memorizing it. She had decided to tell Yi Mo that he must not spill this body refinement cultivation method or he would die. Then, Zhen Bingyu decided to focus completely on body refinement. 6 days later, Zhen Bingyu successfully reached 4th state and she realized that the reason she cultivated so fast was not only due to Yi Mo's body refinement cultivation method but also because of her abstruse immortal power. After all, her abstruse immortal power meant that her body was far stronger than the 3 master states of body refinement. But even so, she knew this body refinement cultivation method was definitely a treasure. 2 months later, she successfully reached hollow state of the 3 king states. Half a year later, Zhen Bingyu reached king state peak stage before her cultivation speed slowed down. She knew that it was impossible to reach god state here. She just walked out of the stone forest naked and cleansed her body before putting on clothes. Chapter 1581, Skeleton at the Bottom of the Well. Chapter 1581, Skeleton at the Bottom of the Well. She didn't have much trouble reaching king state peak stage after this half year of cultivation. She felt that without a good cultivation method, you would be much worse compared to others no matter how hard you tried. Yi Mo was tortured by the space wind blades and chaos flows before reaching king state, but Zhen Bingyu was much stronger than Yi Mo so she didn't have much trouble reaching king state. As soon as she left the stone forest she wanted to go find Yi Mo and tell him he couldn't spill this jade slip. Not long after she left, a figure suddenly dropped from the sky and splat on the ground. Zhen Bingyu immediately stopped and released her black sword. She knew that the cultivator fell from the sky due to the shadowless vulture ambush. This was why she admired Yi Mo before. Yi Mo definitely was powerful to be able to hunt shadowless vultures here. It was a pity she only saved Yi Mo once and couldn't ask for his cultivation method for this. Half a moment later, Zhen Bingyu was certain the shadowless vulture was gone before looking at the dead cultivator. He was golden immortal tertiary stage and his storage ring was gone. Zhen Bingyu knew that the vulture took it. They were extremely smart. The dead cultivator also had a messenger flying sword, but it wasn't sent out. Zhen Bingyu scanned it and immediately saw the message inside. Extreme Star Swamp, 1,000 kilometers west. A Chaos Blue reed appeared. I am being hunted. Chaos Blue reed? Zhen Bingyu's hands shook and almost dropped this flying sword. This was extremely precious, more precious than a level 9 immortal spirit herb. If news got out, people would go crazy. A Chaos Blue reed could not only allow any immortal to rebuild his body, but the body would be top grade. This was the weakest use of it. If directly consumed, it could allow a great eternity immortal to reach an immortal king. The reason there were so few status immortals in the 33 heavens was because it was too hard to reach. Having immortal crystals and talent alone wasn't enough. To her, she was most excited about it because it was the best immortal spirit herb for body refinement nirvana, but it was too extravagant to use it on nirvana. If one could get the Chaos Blue reed, no one would want to use it for body refinement. So this meant that when this cultivator found the Chaos Blue reed, another cultivator found it too. This cultivator tried to notify his friend but was killed to seal off the news. His body was here, so where was the cultivator who hunted him? Zhen Bingyu frowned and soon guessed that this cultivator wanted to run and in his desperation could only use his flying magic artifact. That cultivator also chased with flying magic artifact, so they were both killed by Shadowless Vulture. She quickly cast these thoughts aside. She was king state now, and even though god state was hard, she would be able to reach there in a few years' time with Yimo's cultivation method. Then, she would be facing body refinement nirvana. She must get the Chaos Blue reed. Zhen Bingyu soon made up her mind. She had been in here for a few months and still hadn't gone to the depth because she wanted to get used to this place first. But now she was and reached king state too. It was time to go to the Extreme Star Swamp. After that she would plan to go to level 2 for her trial. She would have to delay warning Yimo. She knew about this Extreme Star Swamp. In the Chaos Star Realm, you couldn't use Immortal Essence and Spirit Sense in many places. But in the Extreme Star Swamp, the Spirit Sense and Immortal Essence suppression was almost non-existent. You can only rely on your own body. Of course, magic artifacts that didn't require Spirit Sense control were also good. Zhen Bingyu immediately thought of Yimo. To him, this swamp was the best place. His body refinement cultivation was much higher than hers, and looking at his sword ray, it was more like sword technique rather than sword art. But she didn't dare to go call Yimo. If there was only one Chaos Blue reed, she was certain that Yimo wouldn't give it to her. She was grateful that Yimo gave her body refinement cultivation method, but she still went to the swamp alone without hesitation. After half a year of solitary cultivation, Yimo reached Golden Immortal middle stage and felt the exhaustion of the hidden ice Immortal Well. Another few days later, Yimo felt that Immortal Well had completely disappeared before putting away the time formation disk and his formations. The cultivation effect of the Immortal Well was too good, but there was too little. Yimo didn't leave immediately. He felt that since the well came below the pond, he should go down and see. Who knew what good things could be down there? When Yimo carefully went into the pond, he realized how piercing cold it was. It was on par with the South Peace State's ice god Forbidden Grounds. The only difference was that you couldn't feel it until you went inside it. When Yimo dived for tens of kilometers without reaching the bottom, he felt things weren't right. He slowed down and released his octagonal cauldron. 5 minutes later, Yimo saw the bottom of the pond. He even suspected this place was more than 100 kilometers deep. This was the first time he had seen such a deep pond. There was no mud at all at the bottom. Instead, there were flat stone blocks. After walking for about 30 minutes, Yimo was getting more and more shocked. Before he went in, the surface of the pond was only about 10,000 square meters, but now, it seemed more than 1,000 times that. This place seemed like a perfectly flat square. Yimo searched for hours and found nothing meaningful. Just when he wanted to leave, he found an extremely weak stealth restriction. Yimo carefully entered it and immediately felt an ancient sensation. Yimo released Zishu and carefully scanned his spirit sense around. Moments later, he saw what it was. Tens of meters ahead of him sat an immortal. The ancient sensation came from him, but this immortal was just a skeleton now. He was definitely an ancient powerful being. Yimo exclaimed and carefully walked near this immortal. There was a faint golden color emitting from the skeleton. It was in this cold water for countless years and yet it was completely fine. There was a sliver of black in the front of the bones. The skeleton only had one hand left. Its only hand grabbed a golden staff, but it had no storage ring. Yimo carefully scanned his spirit sense on the skeleton. When his spirit sense reached the eyes, a terrifying power seeped out of the eyes. Yimo's body shook and his essence spirit loosened up. He couldn't even control his movement and took tens of steps back. There, Yimo stared at the bones in shock. He clearly felt no life. Why was there such terrifying killing Kai? "You're alive?" After a while, Yimo asked. There was no reply. There was no reply. Yimo breathed easy. Just what power level was this guy when he lived? He had been dead for all these years, but the remnant Kai he had could force a golden immortal middle stage back so many times. This person was definitely countless times stronger than the Freedom King. Yimo's spirit sense fell on that staff. He knew it was definitely a top-grade magic artifact. He was an immortal forgery master but still couldn't tell what level it was. Although Yimo knew the golden skeleton was a priceless treasure, he had no interest in this body. He would take the staff and go. This wasn't a place to stay for long. Thinking about this, Yimo tried to take the staff with his spirit sense. "You're not the fated one." Another extremely powerful force shook him further away. Those words were imprinted in his brain. "Qian Bei's essence spirit is still alive?" Yimo asked with uncertainty. If this person even had just a sliver of essence spirit left, he wouldn't be able to get up from here. Only a status immortal can be fated. Come back after you become a status immortal. That message appeared in his brain. Yimo was certain that the skeleton had sliver of essence spirit left and quickly bowed. Wn Bei was impulsive and broke into Qian Bei's solitary cultivation grounds. Wn Bei will leave now and promise not to spill this place out. If in the future you can go to Fandu Heaven's 9-fan immortal pond and kill Yu Jinxiang for me, I will immediately give you something you really need and another powerful heritage. A message appeared in his mind again. Yimo sneered. Fandu Heaven was one of the 11 Grand Heaven domains. Going there to kill someone was suicide. Plus, he already had enough good things. The staff was good, but dying for it was not worth it. Plus, this essence spirit didn't even force him to make an oath. Things clearly weren't ordinary. Seeing there was no resistance, Yimo accelerated and quickly left from this broken stealth formation. As soon as he came out, he received another message. "Sai, you don't even care about the Chaos Blue Reed." Yimo was shook. As an immortal pill great master, he knew what it was better than anyone. It was the best body refinement nirvana immortal spirit herb. Its value wasn't something ordinary level 9 immortal spirit herbs could compare with. Yet this person knew he needed it the most now. If it was some other immortal who was God state peak stage, he definitely would turn back, but Yimo was used to seeing things much better than the Chaos Blue Reed. The Chaos Blue Reed was precious, but since there was life-threatening danger he didn't want to stay here. This essence spirit could send messages in his brain so easily. Even though he wasn't afraid of possession, he didn't want to stay here. Without hesitation, he turned his head back, fleeing with water mobility. The reason he turned back was to confuse the skeleton. Regardless whether skeleton tried to keep him or not, Yimo would leave first out of safety. If that skeleton indeed wanted to attack him trying to get him to go back, perhaps that action might buy a second for him. Indeed, as soon as Yimo used mobility, a powerful spirit sense charged into his octagonal cauldron. Even though Yimo had a spirit sense cultivation method, he felt extremely weak and immediately spat blood. This skeleton indeed wanted to harm him. But that spirit sense could only attack Yimo once and couldn't keep hunting him anymore. Yimo charged to the side quickly and fell to the ground panting for breath. That was too close. Luckily he was golden immortal middle stage and was vigilant and wasn't lured by the Chaos Blue Reed. Otherwise, he wouldn't just be dead. He was certain that the skeleton used a spirit sense cultivation method, one that was more powerful than his. But Yimo didn't understand why the skeleton didn't attack when he first entered the stealth formation and instead attacked after he left. Yimo sat down after a while and found in shock that his spirit sense was extremely weak and couldn't even recover. Now, he realized why the skeleton didn't attack when he first went in. The skeleton could only use it once and he saved it for possession. Seeing that he was going, he got worried. More than half of his power was related to spirit sense. What would he do if his sea of consciousness was damaged just due to one attack? This person only had a sliver of essence spirit left and there was such a distance between them and in a rush, yet he could still heavily injure his spirit sense. Just how powerful was this person? This cultivator's spirit sense was so powerful, meaning that he had a powerful spirit sense cultivation method. If he was closer, even a great unity immortal cultivator would be killed. Yimo panted. His body was still very weak and his spirit sense was greatly damaged. Now, he couldn't even gather up his immortal essence. He slowly got up. Despite knowing that skeleton couldn't come to the surface, Yimo didn't want to stay here anymore. If he knew there was such a terrifying skeleton below, he wouldn't dare to cultivate here for half a year. Luckily he had many corner soul weeds. He couldn't take them out now, but if he recovered a little spirit sense he could. He needed to find a place to recover his spirit sense now. He couldn't use his spirit sense so he couldn't connect to the golden page world and go in. Yimo was very careful. He knew that there was a huge blue rock on the way he came and there was only 5 minutes distance to it. As long as he got near there he would be able to hide inside, recover some of his sea of consciousness and go into the golden page world and use corner soul weeds. Yimo only walked out for less than 15 minutes when a blue figure rapidly came over. There was someone chasing behind the blue figure. The blue figure seemed heavily injured. Moments later, that figure was in front of Yimo. When he saw who that cultivator was, Yimo almost cursed. It was that cold-faced Zhenbingyu. Her hair was messy and blood was all over her body. When he saw her, she also saw him. There was surprise and joy in her eyes and she quickly said, "Martial brother, ye please help." Yimo carefully moved to the side, meaning, "Keep running, this has nothing to do with me." But Zhenbingyu didn't notice at all. She went to Yimo's side and stopped. She released her black sword and hacked over at the chasing abstruse immortal with a sword mist. This was an abstruse immortal middle stage. Zhenbingyu was no match for him even if she wasn't injured, but now she was heavily injured. "I'll hold this person here, quickly attack." Zhenbingyu thought Yimo would immediately attack as Yimo gave her the impression that he knew when to take the best opportunity. She believed that Yimo would help no matter what. This person was an abstruse immortal middle stage and if Yimo killed him, his storage ring would be a fortune. Plus, she knew Yimo. But what shook her was that Yimo didn't even move and yelled instead, "Help my ass, what direction can't you run to? Why do you have to run over here? You only haven't seen me for half a year, do you miss me this much? You idiot." Yimo couldn't not be furious. This was his weakest moment. He was meat on the chopping block, but Zhenbingyu brought over such a powerful enemy. And since Zhenbingyu was no match for him, after she was killed, he would be next. But now, he couldn't even use his final means and go into the golden page world. How could he not despair? Yimo couldn't not be furious. This was his weakest moment. He was meat on the chopping block, but Zhenbingyu brought over such a powerful enemy. And since Zhenbingyu was no match for him, after she was killed, he would be next. But now, he couldn't even use his final means and go into the golden page world. How could he not despair? Zhenbingyu frowned seeing that Yimo didn't attack, but when Yimo cursed, she felt something wasn't right. At this moment, her sword mist had been broken and before she could take her sword back, countless dark rays shot over. A huge black dragon magic artifact roared over. Zhenbingyu knew that if she was caught by that she would be dead for sure. She didn't have the time to think and released a rainbow cloud stamp. It blocked the area in front of her. She knew it wasn't enough to stop it but she couldn't care that much anymore. Asterisk thud thud asterisk the black rays shot on the rainbow stamp, but even so it couldn't block the rest. With a splurge, a dark ray pierced her right rib and another dark ray shot into Yimo's chest. His body refinement was powerful, but he hadn't gone through nirvana yet. Zhen Bingyu immediately realized why Yimo called her an idiot. He was heavily injured too, much more serious than her. The cultivator she brought over was going to kill Yimo. Realizing this, Zhen Bingyu spat out essence blood and released a rune. The sky rattled heavily and the rune brought about a space windstorm as though about to tear the person caught in it to countless pieces. The abstruse immortal middle stage knew the terrifying power of this rune and immediately released a defense magic artifact while retreating. He didn't believe she would be able to get away. So what if she had a rune? Did she have more? Zhen Bingyu took out another rune however and spat another mouthful of blood of essence blood. Instant transmission rune. Yimo cursed, after she left with that rune he would still have to die. Having a great eternity immortal master was good indeed. She even had a rune that only status immortals could make. But he clearly thought too lowly of Zhen Bingyu. When she activated the rune, Yimo felt a faint aroma come over and a soft body took him. The next moment, there was a feeling of dizziness. Yimo relaxed a little, he knew his life was saved. In an extremely ordinary cave, Zhen Bingyu took Yimo inside with a pale face before setting up a few simple low-level stealth restrictions before sitting down and panting. At this moment, she had used up almost all of her spirit sense and immortal essence. She was very weak due to repeated burning of essence blood. It was my bad before, sorry. When I came I didn't know you were injured, Zhen Bingyu said. Yimo felt a little embarrassed. Not long ago, he called her an idiot but now she saved him again. Yimo coughed and waved his hand. Never mind, you saved me. How did you offend such a powerful guy? Even if I wasn't injured, I would most likely lose fighting this guy. As he spoke, Yimo pulled the dark ray out from his chest while thinking whether he should ask for some pills from her. What shook him was that Zhen Bingyu changed her clothes in front of him. That blue dress was quickly taken off. She seemed to be about to take off her inner clothes. Of course Yimo wasn't going to look, but Zhen Bingyu didn't seem to intend to avoid him at all. After the blue dress was gone, there was an extremely thin inner armor made with heaven meridian worm's silk, but that shockingly curvaceous body and silky white skin was revealed. The sturdy 2 hills in front of her chest were half revealed too. If this woman wasn't always cold and never flirted, Yimo would almost think she was trying to seduce him. Wait, Yimo stopped her. Seeing her turn back, Yimo coughed, Martial Sister Bingyu, you don't avoid people when you change clothes. Hearing this, Zhen Bingyu frowned and said coldly, it's just a body, nothing worth avoiding. If you almost succumb to this corporal lust, you will forever be like this. Your body refinement cultivation method is indeed powerful, but your cultivation level is only, Zhen Bingyu stared at Yimo in shock. You reached golden immortal middle stage in half a year, how is that possible? Then as though thinking of something, she nodded. The cultivation method heritage you got is very substantial, if you focus on the pursuit of Tao. Then she shook her head as though knowing that Yimo wouldn't be able to do that. Mu Wushuang was that powerful but he was still ganged up and killed. If he focused on his Tao, would this happen? She didn't try to persuade Yimo anymore and continued to take off her inner clothes. She used a cleansing spell before taking out a new set and changed into it in front of Yimo. I know your heritage is very powerful, but what I need to tell you is that you must not spill it or you will be dead for sure. She finally realized why this woman knew he came out with Feng Chuanmo but still acted so calm. To her it was just corporal lust. It wasn't that she didn't understand the things between men and women, but she didn't care. She knew how to protect herself. Facing a goddess with such a beautiful face and body, Yimo suddenly felt at a loss. So this means you would be willing if someone wants to sleep with you? Yimo suddenly really wanted to know if she would agree. Zhen Bingyu had finished changing her clothes and sneered. Keep dreaming. I'm not someone as innocent as Feng Chuanmo. I would never give my virginity essence Kai to someone. Zhen Bingyu looked at Yimo in contempt. Do you do this often in front of other people? Do you do this out in the open? Yimo asked. Would you change your clothes on the streets when you're heavily injured? Idiot. I'm changing here because you're more injured than me and you can't do anything to me. Zhen Bingyu cursed back. Yimo was completely speechless. This female cultivator seemed extremely cunning and was much more persistent in cultivation than most cultivators. Was she really an emotionless goddess? Yimo felt a little strange. Perhaps she thought her perception was correct. True, the body was just flesh and bones, but many cultivators came from being a mortal and couldn't change their perspective. But Yimo immediately shook his head. He felt if he really reached Zhen Bingyu's state it would be sad. He would rather die of old age than be like Zhen Bingyu. Nothing else mattered except for reaching the top of Tao. "Can you lend me some pills?" Yimo asked. Zhen Bingyu nodded and gave a jade bottle to Yimo. "When you recover we can do a deal." Yimo ate a few pills and finally recovered some spirit sense. Then he took out his pills without hesitation and ate them in big handfuls. His pills were much better than hers, all top grade or extreme grade. The power of the three birth chant was shown. Yimo felt his immortal essence and sea of consciousness recover rapidly. But Yimo felt there was a shadow in his sea of consciousness that gave him an extreme sense of danger. Then, Yimo took out a few formation flags and looked at Zhen Bingyu. "I need to change clothes too, but my state isn't as high as yours. I need to set up a stealth formation." Zhen Bingyu's face was cold and she closed her eyes to cultivate. Yimo didn't care. Yimo threw down tens of formation flags, and when his figure disappeared, Zhen Bingyu suddenly got up and murmured, "He's a level 2 immortal formation master? How is there someone this insane?" After Yimo went in the stealth formation, he immediately took out a jade white dark weed and started repairing his spirit sense and sea of consciousness. After Yimo went in the stealth formation, he immediately took out a jade white dark weed and started repairing his spirit sense and sea of consciousness. Only now did he feel the true power of the dark weed. His sea of consciousness was being repaired rapidly. It was many times better than pills. Yimo was shaken. He didn't feel the corner soul weed was anything special when his sea of consciousness was fine, but now that it was injured he realized why it was so precious. If he concocted it into the dual spirit pill, wouldn't the effect be even better? Dual spirit pills were level 6 immortal pill. Yimo had decided to concoct them as soon as he reached level 6 immortal pill Great Master. After more than half of his sea of consciousness was repaired, a black dot appeared in his sea of consciousness. Yimo was shaken. He didn't even notice a skeleton who was about to die plant a mark in his sea of consciousness. If he didn't have corner soul weeds and other pills, it would be countless years before he could repair his sea of consciousness. After that, who knew what would happen? Perhaps this spirit sense mark would have fused with his spirit sense. Would that skeleton know everything he thought by then? If that was really the case, then if that skeleton revived or possessed someone else, he would be caught anywhere. Thinking about this, Yimo was covered in cold sweat. He quickly forced out that dark shadow and sealed it with layers of restrictions before sealing it in a jade box. Then, he carefully sealed the jade box in the golden page world. Yimo didn't destroy it. He never liked to take such things passively. He would pay this skeleton back in the future. After this, Yimo quickly stripped himself naked and burned everything with mist lotus heart fire before searching all over his body with it. Only when he was certain there were no more marks left did he feel assured. At the same time, he felt an increasingly desperate need for power. Just when Yimo was about to put on his clothes, Zhen Bingyu suddenly charged in. Yimo was dazed but then quickly put on his clothes and stared coldly at Zhen Bingyu. "I know your Tao heart is different than mine, but my body isn't just flesh and bones. I've set up a stealth formation. Don't you think you should ask before you come in?" Zhen Bingyu said expressionlessly, "When you reach the great Tao you will realize that what I said is true. Body is just flesh and bones, that's it. Plus, I came in for a reason. That abstruse immortal middle stage just passed here not far away." "How do you know?" Yimo asked. His body hadn't fully recovered yet. If that guy caught up, it would be very dangerous. "I didn't get to take back my black sword and rainbow stamp. He is using them to sense my location. He didn't notice before, but if he passes here again he will," Zhen Bingyu said calmly. "Why does he have to kill you?" Yimo asked with a frown. "I will tell you when you recover. This also concerns our future cooperation." Zhen Bingyu nodded. Yimo was helpless and could only continue his recovery. Half an hour later, his wounds had pretty much recovered. Now he breathed easy. Even if that abstruse immortal middle stage came now, he wasn't scared. He then said to Zhen Bingyu, "I'm going to set up a formation now. When I'm finished, make that trash formation you set at the cave. At least it will allow him to be able to sense you. You want to draw that abstruse immortal over and trap him with a formation?" Zhen Bingyu immediately knew what Yimo meant and didn't feel unhappy at Yimo for calling her formation trash. Yimo laughed. "That's right, I didn't do anything and this bastard hit me. I don't like it, I'm going to get him back." Hearing this, Zhen Bingyu sighed. "It seems I was correct, my master overestimated you. You're not mature indeed, you're very impetuous, you're still not over something this small. No matter how powerful your heritage is, you won't be able to achieve the great Tao. Small thing." Yimo looked speechlessly at this woman. He was almost killed and this was small? There was nothing in common between them. Yimo couldn't be bothered talking to her and started setting up formation flags. She clearly knew something about formations and was surprised looking at the way Yimo set them up. This was because she couldn't see them with her spirit sense after Yimo set them up. Half an hour later, Yimo finished a stealth attack formation. Now, he just needed to wait for the abstruse immortal to come over and die. "Which cultivation realm did you ascend from?" There was still no sign of that abstruse immortal, so he asked Zhen Bingyu this question. "I'm not an immortal ascension cultivator, I was with my master at the extreme sword sect ever since I was young." Zhen Bingyu shook her head and said. Yimo was a little confused. Even if she was an immortal realm cultivator, there were no female cultivators who had the same perceptions as her. "You want to ask why I don't care about the things between men and women, right?" Zhen Bingyu was very smart. Seeing Yimo not talk, she sneered. "If you want to say I'm shameless, be straightforward. You don't understand my Tao heart, it's pointless to tell you. Of course, if you can show me your formation jade slip so that I can easily set up a stealth formation, I would do it too." Yimo sneered and couldn't be bothered talking to her. Her wits weren't small either and she wanted to use this opportunity to get his formation jade slip. Who did she think she was? He gave her the body refinement jade slip because she saved him before. Although she saved him just now, she brought the danger here too. Seeing Yimo ignore her, Zhen Bingyu didn't care. She knew that Yimo wouldn't agree anyways, but the body refinement cultivation method Yimo gave her was too powerful. If Yimo's formation jade slip was this powerful, then she would soon become an immortal formation master too. She didn't really intend to use Yimo. The two didn't talk anymore. The silence didn't last for a few minutes before a spirit sense scanned into the cave and a dashing light came. It was that abstruse immortal middle stage indeed. Zhen Bingyu changed the formation a little and that person sensed the two here. Sensing this abstruse immortal's ferocious kai, Yimo knew that if he didn't use his formation, he wouldn't be a match for this guy if he was still golden immortal primary stage. But now, he was golden immortal middle stage and had this formation. He believed he would be able to easily kill this abstruse immortal middle stage. The abstruse immortal came to the cave, but didn't come in immediately. He threw out some formation flags and sealed the space nearby, fearing that Zhen Bingyu would use an instant transmission rune again. He looked at the cave for a while. That golden immortal primary stage was nothing, but this woman was quite powerful. He had to ensure there was no danger here. But now Zhen Bingyu was looking at Yimo in shock. He controlled his power to be golden immortal primary stage and she couldn't tell at all. That meant if Yimo was an abstruse immortal and kept his power at golden immortal primary stage, she still wouldn't be able to tell. The abstruse immortal checked around and didn't find anything before smirking and coming in. His black dragon magic artifact was spinning above his head. The dragon above his head roared. The dragon above his head roared. This wasn't Yimo's first time seeing such a magic artifact, it was made with a beast soul. Such magic artifacts had an artifact spirit that couldn't grow, but it was much stronger than ordinary magic artifacts without an artifact spirit. The sound made by this black dragon was heavy and powerful. Attack! The abstruse immortal cultivator didn't look at Yimo anymore and just stared at Zhen Bingyu before roaring. The black dragon morphed into black lightning and shot out. It formed a 3-meter-long grinder above Zhen Bingyu. If it wasn't that this cave was too small, it definitely would be bigger. At the same time, there was a buzzing sound in the abstruse immortal's body. Black rays shot from his body. Yimo sneered, he was injured by this before. Before that dark ray could shoot up, he threw out his formation flag. The instant the formation closed, the abstruse immortal cultivator felt it. He wasn't good at formations, but he could tell he was trapped. He finally realized why Zhen Bingyu took this small golden immortal primary stage when she ran. He was an immortal formation master. But he didn't care even though he was trapped. He pushed with his dark rays, but soon he noticed something was wrong. They disappeared in the small cave hole. That huge black dragon magic artifact was also stopped by the formation and didn't do any damage to the abstruse immortal female cultivator. Not only that, the black dragon wouldn't be able to help him for a while. The abstruse immortal immediately realized that Yimo was an immortal formation master who knew very well how to use formations to fight. He had to kill this golden immortal insect first. Otherwise, he wouldn't be able to do anything while trapped here. Just when he thought of this, that black dragon rattled and smashed over at Yimo's formation. But as soon as it did, the abstruse immortal immediately noticed a powerful killing force coming his way. He didn't even notice this before. He was very familiar with this killing force. He had fought with Zhen Bingyu more than once. It was another magic artifact that she could control. Each time this woman attacked, he could feel it beforehand, but now he only sensed it when it was before him. This must be due to this formation. He quickly took back his black dragon to block Zhen Bingyu's blue flute. At this moment, this abstruse immortal didn't care about Zhen Bingyu at all. When the black dragon blocked Zhen Bingyu, he charged over at Yimo like crazy and smashed a rune over. He felt very embarrassed to use a rune against a golden immortal cultivator, but he knew clearly that if he didn't kill this immortal formation master, it would be hard for him to even stay alive, much less win. This small golden immortal primary stage posed a much greater threat to him than this abstruse immortal primary stage female cultivator. Rumble the rune exploded on Yimo's formation, rattling the space nearby. The space of the Chaos Star Realm didn't seem as stable as outside. The abstruse immortal cultivator realized that his rune only rattled Yimo's formation a little and did nothing. The golden immortal primary stage wasn't in the blast radius at all. Before he could release his magic artifact, another faint light swept over. It wasn't that woman, it should be the golden immortal. The abstruse immortal released a low-grade immortal artifact and grabbed at the direction the faint light came from. Yimo sneered. A mere abstruse immortal middle stage who was in his formation dared to try and grab him with his hands. He threw out a few more formation flags and Zishu struck the abstruse immortal cultivator's shield. Crack the abstruse immortal didn't expect Yimo's immortal essence was this strong. His shield was hacked away without him using it at full power. A small crack even ran down the middle. "You're not golden immortal primary stage." As soon as he said this, a bloodlight flashed and Zishu hacked into his chest. The abstruse immortal was shook. He was heavily injured now and wanted to run without hesitation. From that clash, he could feel that Yimo's immortal essence was even a little stronger than abstruse immortal primary stage. He was trapped in a formation and faced two abstruse immortals. This was asking to die. As soon as the abstruse immortal turned, countless invisible sword rays shot out of the formation and surrounded him. The abstruse immortal activated the huge black dragon like crazy, wanting to use it to charge out of the cultivation home. However, he wouldn't be able to get out of Yimo's trap formation quickly. He knew he shouldn't have come inside. If he wasn't in the formation, he wouldn't fear this immortal formation master. There was a terrifying pressure coming from the black dragon. Yimo knew this guy was about to detonate his magic artifact to get out. A magic artifact with an artifact spirit had even more terrifying detonations. How could Yimo let him detonate his magic artifact? He circulated his immortal essence and spirit sense like crazy as Zishu burst out. The purple went from faint to dense in less than half a second and hacked down from the abstruse immortal's head. The abstruse immortal didn't even have time to release his explosion rune and was cut in half by Zishu. Seeing Yimo kill this abstruse immortal middle stage in such a short time with the formation, there was a sliver of shock in Jin Bingyu's eyes. She knew Yimo would win, but didn't expect the win to be this clean. After this abstruse immortal died, his essence spirit seemed to have been devoured by a black shadow. She didn't even see what it was. From this, it was clear that Yimo still had trump cards he didn't use. Jin Bingyu went up to that cultivator and took her black sword. Yimo took the formation flags and easily broke the restrictions on the storage ring. However, Yimo was greatly disappointed. There were only about 500,000 immortal crystals. An abstruse immortal was this poor? But soon, Yimo realized what happened. There were a few bottles of level 3 immortal pills and quite some level 4 immortal spirit herbs and materials. Seeing Jin Bingyu look at him, he quickly found her rainbow stamp and threw it back to her. Seeing her take it, Yimo was about to leave here. Wait, I said there was something we can collaborate on, are you willing? Jin Bingyu suddenly stopped Yimo. What is it? Yimo asked plainly. Jin Bingyu said, I know a place with chaos blue reeds, if you're willing. Yimo suddenly looked coldly at her. That's exactly what the skeleton that almost killed him said. What did she mean by saying this now? Yimo was ready to release Zishu at any time. If this woman dared to let him go down that pond, he would kill her without hesitation. Feeling Yimo's killing intent, Jin Bingyu took 2 steps back and frowned. She didn't understand why Yimo would have killing intent towards her after he said this. So she watched. If Yimo dared to attack, she would protect herself. She was thinking that Yimo probably wanted to take it all for himself. Thus, Jin Bingyu didn't want to tell Yimo anymore. She couldn't get it herself, but she hadn't even said the location and Yimo wanted it all for himself. This made her very uncomfortable. Never mind, I don't want to collaborate with you, Jin Bingyu said and was about to leave here. Yimo was confused instead. Did he guess wrong? If he did, then this was a missed opportunity. Where is it? Yimo couldn't resist asking. I thought only I knew about it, but after I went there I realized that wasn't the case. That abstruse immortal middle stage who tried to kill me was scared of news spreading, so he came to kill me. He had 2 other abstruse immortal primary stage friends who stayed there, Jin Bingyu answered. I thought only I knew about it, but after I went there I realized that wasn't the case. That abstruse immortal middle stage who tried to kill me was scared of news spreading, so he came to kill me. He had 2 other abstruse immortal primary stage friends who stayed there, Jin Bingyu answered. Hearing this, he immediately asked, how do you want to cooperate? Before that I have 2 conditions, Jin Bingyu said upon seeing that Yimo's wariness towards her reduced. Yimo said plainly, first, the chaos blue reed you mentioned might not exist. Even if it does, we might not get it. Second, you don't need to tell me your conditions, I won't agree to it before seeing the chaos blue reed. Jin Bingyu realized it was pointless to mention the cultivation method again, so she fell into silence. After a while she could only say, then how would we divide things if we get the chaos blue reed? He knew the chances were slim, but the chaos blue reed was too much of an enticement to Yimo. If he found one, he would definitely not want to give it up. He fell silent for a while and said, if there's more than one we can share them evenly, but if there's only one, then there's none for me, right? Jin Bingyu sneered, but she was angry. This guy hadn't even got the chaos blue reed and already acted like this. If he got it, then wouldn't he kill her? Yimo was lost for words. If there was only one he really wouldn't know how to split it. I'm already God state peak stage, I'm about to go through nirvana. I need it more desperately than you, so if you help me with this, I will compensate you elsewhere, Yimo said helplessly. Jin Bingyu knew Yimo's greed and sighed. If she didn't work with him there was no way she would get the chaos blue reed, but she felt unsatisfied collaborating with him. I'm also king state middle stage, plus, everyone wants something like the chaos blue reed. You don't need an entire one for body refinement. If there's only one, give half to me, Jin Bingyu said without hesitation. Yimo wasn't surprised she reached king state in half a year. She was powerful and the body refinement places here were really good too. Seeing that Yimo didn't talk, she added, if there's only one, I want the top part of the chaos blue reed, I can give the bottom half to you. For something like the Chaos Blue reed, the lower the part, the more valuable. Yimo nodded. Okay, we'll do that. Now where is the Chaos Blue reed? It's in the extreme star swamp, 1,000 kilometers west, Zhenbingyu said. Yimo released Blue Moon and said to Zhenbingyu, get on, let's hurry. Yimo knew this place too. This was the perfect place for him. One couldn't use spirit sense nor immortal essence here. A body refinement cultivator like him had a natural advantage. Zhenbingyu got on Blue Moon without hesitation. Yimo controlled Blue Moon while expanding his spirit sense domain out. Blue Moon darted across the sky in a blue figure. It was many times faster than running on the ground. Zhenbingyu's face was still very cold, but she envied Yimo quite a lot. Even though she came from a great eternity immortal sect, she was like a hillbilly compared to Yimo. Other than her more adamant Tao heart, her cultivation method and capabilities were all lower. Just when Zhenbingyu was thinking, Yimo suddenly hacked out with Zishu. A shriek sounded and blood fell. Yimo grabbed a beast core and 2 feathers. Zhenbingyu saw a shadowless vulture quickly disappear. Zhenbingyu was shook looking at this. The other parts of the shadowless vulture were worth some immortal crystals. This guy was too wasteful. For the first time, Zhenbingyu became curious about Yimo. She would never be interested in any cultivators, but she asked this time, are you a cultivator from the cultivation realm? Yes. Yimo nodded. Then someone like you would have quite some Tao partners in the cultivation realm? Zhenbingyu asked. She really felt it was a pity that someone this talented couldn't focus on cultivation. Yimo nodded awkwardly, thinking this woman was quite accurate. Zhenbingyu knew it was like this and hesitated before saying, your fortune must be astounding. My master said before that Nianmei didn't deserve you, now I believe it. With your current situation, if you focus completely on cultivation, I believe you can reach the top of Tao. Yimo waved his hand, he didn't want her to remind him. Seeing Yimo lost the interest to talk, Zhenbingyu said, I'm just reminding you, whether you listen or not, it's up to you. I just feel pity for that unparalleled heritage of yours. Yimo looked at her plainly and said, then I'll remind you too. If you don't undress yourself in front of a man, you might reach the top of Tao. Listen or not, up to you. I just feel pity for such an extremely beautiful woman. Zhenbingyu smiled and said no more. Although she didn't care about her body, this was the only time she undressed herself in front of a male cultivator. This was because she had never teamed up with someone before. Even though she came with Hai Chuanwu, she still chose to trial alone. She was heavily injured this time and Yimo was in a worse state. There were people hunting then, she wouldn't care about exposing her body. Yimo was dazed. Ever since he met this woman, this was the first time he saw her smile. Her smile was many times prettier than her cold face. Yimo sighed. Thinking that such extremely beautiful woman took her clothes off casually in front of other people, and how her body had been seen by countless people, there was a sense of disgust in Yimo's heart. You are disgusted by me? Zhenbingyu scanned and saw the disgust in Yimo's heart. Haha, we're here. Yimo still needed to collaborate with her, of course he couldn't admit it. Looking down, the extreme star swamp was shrouded in what seemed like mist or chaos kai. There were many immortals here, from golden immortal to abstruse immortal. There were constantly more cultivators coming over. In half a day, there would be more than 2,000 here. This is your private news. Yimo looked at Zhenbingyu in confusion. A sliver of awkwardness appeared on Zhenbingyu's face. When I left, there was not a single person here. Now that so many came, the Chaos Blue reed must have been exposed. Yimo got off from Blue Moon and many immortals saw it. They all turned around. There were people flying in here, but it was usually abstruse immortal cultivators with a top-grade defense magic artifact. When they saw it was only a golden immortal primary stage landing, they were shocked. Golden immortal primary stages could fly in here? But then they saw Zhenbingyu behind him, who was an abstruse immortal. Yimo didn't like Zhenbingyu seeing that he was golden immortal middle stage, so he hid his power back to golden immortal primary stage, as many of the cultivators here knew he was golden immortal primary stage. I know that golden immortal cultivator. No one wanted to team up with him, but in the end he got to the asteroid door himself. A golden immortal primary stage past the heaven domain void, are you sure? It's true, I saw it too. He not only crossed it but also killed more than 10,000 level 2 and level 3 3-feet wolves. Everyone discussed and soon determined Yi Mo to be a master who could fight beyond his level. Thus, no cultivators dared to scan Yi Mo with spirit sense. Everyone discussed and soon determined Yi Mo to be a master who could fight beyond his level. Thus, no cultivators dared to scan Yi Mo with spirit sense. Martial Sister Bingyu, a joyful voice sounded. Yi Mo and Zhen Bingyu looked at Hai Wuchuan at the same time. Seeing Yi Mo next to Zhen Bingyu, Hai Wuchuan's eyes flashed with discomfort. He didn't expect she rejected to go with him and instead went with Yi Mo. But that sliver of discomfort quickly disappeared and he sped up to them. Martial Sister Bingyu, did you hear there was Chaos Blue Reed here? Hai Wuchuan asked immediately. Zhen Bingyu nodded. Yes, how did you know? I heard that a golden immortal cultivator got his friend's messenger flying sword and immediately knew his friend was killed due to this. In his fury, he spread this everywhere. I think half of the cultivators here know now. Many more are still coming over, Hai Wuchuan said. Martial Sister Bingyu, didn't you say you were going to trial alone? Why are you with Pill Master Yi? Hai Wuchuan felt that Zhen Bingyu wouldn't be interested in Yi Mo and she said to him that she didn't want a Dao partner, but these few times he saw her, she was with Yi Mo. Zhen Bingyu said, I happened to see Martial Brother Yi here so we came together. Pill Master Yi, I didn't expect you could cross the heaven domain void alone. I wanted to greet you at the time but you left too quickly. Hai Wuchuan realized that Zhen Bingyu changed from calling Yi Mo Pill Master Yi to Martial Brother Yi, but he still smiled. So it's Martial Brother Hai. Hai Wuchuan was polite and Yi Mo couldn't say much. Seeing Yi Mo not interested in talking, Hai Wuchuan said to Zhen Bingyu again, I heard that the Chaos Blue Reed is 1,000 kilometers west of here. These people are going over in teams. There might be conflict if it's found. One can't use spirit sense and immortal essence in the extreme star swamp. Why don't us two find two more abstruse immortal cultivators and go together? Zhen Bingyu said apologetically to Hai Wuchuan, sorry Martial Brother Wu, I'm grouped with Martial Brother Yi. Hai Wuchuan looked at Yi Mo in confusion and then said to Zhen Bingyu, but Martial Sister Bingyu, Pill Master Yi is only golden immortal power. If, Zhen Bingyu's face was getting colder and colder. She didn't like talking about the same thing again and again. Hai Wuchuan clearly knew her character, and seeing her annoyance he immediately stopped and said again, then I'll join your team, teams are usually 4 to 6 people. Before he finished, he was interrupted by Zhen Bingyu again, Martial Brother Wu, just Brother Yi and I are fine. You can find someone else to team up with, we'll be going inside first. Yi Mo didn't care about what Hai Wuchuan said. He knew that Zhen Bingyu would definitely not team up with Hai Wuchuan. He noticed that a lot of immortals were making magic artifacts. Just when he didn't know why they were doing so, Zhen Bingyu had gone in already. Seeing this, Yi Mo immediately followed. There were water ditches and weeds everywhere as well as some small hills. Yi Mo immediately felt the suppression of spirit sense and immortal essence when he came here. This wasn't a complete suppression. An extremely small amount of immortal essence could be used and spirit sense could only see around 10 meters. One might as well use their eyes. But this little immortal essence was like nothing. They didn't even have Kai gathering level 5 power. One could only use magic artifacts at such a power level. Yi Mo realized why body refinement cultivators here had the advantage. In such places, Golden Immortal could definitely challenge Great Immortals. He also realized why people were making magic artifacts, it was to fly. Despite this, no one really used magic artifact to fly, it was just for backup. There were few shadowless vultures here, but it didn't mean there were none. 1,000 kilometers wasn't far. Despite being suppressed to Kai gathering middle stage, they were still very fast. Plus, it was just suppression, it didn't mean that the rest of their immortal essence was gone. Cultivators could run like this for a few years without tiring at all. Yi Mo wasn't going to run, he released his top-grade flying magic artifact and said to Zhen Bingyu, get on. Zhen Bingyu realized now the benefit of cooperating with Yi Mo. Everyone else had to run, but they could fly. Many cultivators saw Yimo dared to use his flying magic artifact and all looked contemptuous, but Yimo didn't care. He sped up the flying magic artifact. Yimo didn't waste time on the ship. He used the three-birth chant to see if he could release some of his suppressed immortal essence. Yimo was just testing, but what shocked him was that his immortal essence immediately started to be released. Even his spirit sense started to recover slowly. Yimo was overwhelmed with shock. The three-birth chant was too insane. In a place where even immortal emperors couldn't resolve the problem of suppression, he could recover some of his immortal essence. Who would be able to beat him here? What happened to you? Zhen Bingyu's power was suppressed, but it didn't lower her senses. Yimo smiled. I'm still a little injured, I'm going to slow the ship down. Okay, but watch out for shadowless vultures. Zhen Bingyu nodded. How about this? Let's stop at a quiet place, and once I recover, we'll go? Yimo asked. He didn't want Zhen Bingyu to see that he could recover his power. But he couldn't give this flying magic artifact to Zhen Bingyu. After all, shadowless vultures here wouldn't be suppressed. Zhen Bingyu frowned but still agreed. Yimo clearly said he had pretty much recovered, so why did he need to recover now? Yimo changed the direction the ship went and found some brush to sit in. He threw down a few stealth formations and a few defense formations discs. Zhen Bingyu could only watch Yimo do this. Seeing that Yimo still used stealth formation disc, she felt very contemptuous. Yimo immediately used three-birth chant at full power inside the stealth formation disc. His immortal essence and spirit sense grew rapidly. Soon, he was foundation establishment state. 5 minutes later, he was body condensation state power. 15 minutes later, Yimo's power recovered to golden immortal primary stage. Half an hour later, Yimo completely recovered his power. Yimo got out in joy. Can we go now? Zhen Bingyu asked plainly. Of course, I'm fully recovered, let's go. Yimo really wanted to show off and release Blue Moon, but he knew if he did, he would die for sure. Unless he could kill whoever saw him on Blue Moon, the powerful beings of the 11 Grand Heaven domains might come for him. This time, Yimo released a middle-grade flying magic artifact. Seeing Yimo use a worse one, Zhen Bingyu looked strangely at Yimo but still said nothing. 15 minutes later, they arrived 1,000 kilometers west of Extreme Star Swamp. After getting off, he saw that this place was filled. Seeing nearly 2,000 cultivators look for the Chaos Blue Reed, Yimo knew the hopes were slim. With this many immortals searching here, even a needle would be found. With this many immortals searching here, even a needle would be found. Yimo didn't scan with his spirit sense. The Chaos Blue Reed wasn't a needle and he wasn't blind. There were so many people here. If someone found the Chaos Blue Reed, it would be very obvious. There was only endless water ditches here and some small hills. At an ordinary place like this, even low-level immortal spirit herbs would be hard to find, much less the Chaos Blue Reed. I think we've been tricked. How can there be a Chaos Blue Reed here? There's no immortal spirit Kai here. Everyone think about it. What sort of thing is the Chaos Blue Reed? Can it appear at the outskirts of the Extreme Star Swamp? Some cultivators asked. There's Chaos Blue Reed here. My friend definitely wouldn't lie. If he lied, he wouldn't have been killed, one golden immortal peak stage immediately said. Only now did everyone realize that this person spread the news. If he spread fake news, he wouldn't be coming here himself. Did you remember wrong? We didn't find anything. No, my friend remembered clearly that there was a huge water ditch 1,000 kilometers west of Extreme Star Swamp. See, there's a huge water ditch here. My friend said the Chaos Blue Reed was to the side of or inside the water ditch. Then, almost everyone looked at the huge water ditch. Was the Chaos Blue Reed really in here? Asterisk splash asterisk someone had already jumped in, wanting to check if it was in there. Seeing the water ripples, Yimo suddenly thought of something. He realized what happened. He had been to deserts and knew there would be mirages there. Was the Chaos Blue Reed that cultivator saw a mirage too? This meant that there was definitely a Chaos Blue Reed, but it wasn't here. There might be some sudden light that reflected the Chaos Blue Reed here. Yimo knew the actual place might be really far from here. Thinking about this, Yimo was planning to leave. Just as that immortal said, there was no way Chaos Blue Reed would be here. The extreme star swamp was boundless, but he had recovered his power, he had some hope of finding it. Yimo said to Zhen Bingyu, since there's no Chaos Blue Reed here, I'm going other places here for a spin. Martial Sister Bingyu, let's split off here. Good luck, Martial Sister Bingyu. However, when he turned around, Zhen Bingyu followed him. There's definitely no Chaos Blue Reed here, why are you still following me? Yimo asked in confusion. Before Zhen Bingyu could reply, a voice sounded, I know what's going on, it's definitely a mirage. That's right, mirage. Yeah, how come I didn't think of it? Some cultivators clapped. Now, most cultivators here realized what was going on. Yimo felt his nose. As soon as he thought of it, someone else did too. Now, Zhen Bingyu probably thought he wanted to do it alone. Indeed, Zhen Bingyu looked coldly at Yimo. You knew this was a mirage, so you wanted to avoid me, right? Yes, indeed. But now that you know, then let's go if you still want to team up with me. Yimo admitted it. Zhen Bingyu said nothing and followed Yimo without hesitation. She knew that in here, Yimo was much more powerful than her. This was the Chaos Blue Reed, so she wasn't going to go alone. Realizing this was a mirage, many immortals started going around searching. Where do we go? Zhen Bingyu looked at Yimo and asked. Where there is dense immortal spirit Kai. Yimo flew even faster. When he left the crowded place, he changed to a top-grade flying magic artifact and brought the speed to maximum. 5 days later, Zhen Bingyu finally couldn't resist it anymore and said, we can't keep going in. My power has been suppressed to almost nothing. I can only use my own bodily power, I'm weaker than an ordinary martial artist. There are martial artists in Immortal Realm? Yimo asked. Did you think the lowest in the Immortal Realm are all hollow immortal? Zhen Bingyu asked coldly. No, I've seen some disaster transformation state and truth realization states. I just didn't expect there were martial artists. There are not only martial artists, but if they cultivate to the extreme, they are no weaker than status immortals. It's just that we haven't touched their world yet. In here, martial artists are the most suited. Their power wouldn't be suppressed at all. Why do no martial artists come? Because powerful martial artists don't care about it and low-level martial artists can't make it here. Yimo nodded and said slowly, I'm going to search further in. If Martial Sister Bingyu doesn't want to team up with me, I can give you my magic artifact. I have some spirit stones here, you can have them too. This way, you can still leave here. You want me to die? Zhen Bingyu's tone grew cold. Yimo had killed 3 shadowless vultures on the way here. Telling her to go back was telling her to die. Then stop talking. Since we're a team, you go where I go, Yimo said. Zhen Bingyu's face was ice cold, but she couldn't be bothered saying anything to Yimo. The two didn't talk, but Yimo's flying magic artifact was getting faster and faster. Eventually, he even changed to an extreme-grade magic artifact. Zhen Bingyu felt her power was being suppressed more and more, but she said nothing. She was suspicious of Yimo theoretically. The further they went the more they would be suppressed and the flying magic artifact should be slower, but Yimo was getting faster and faster. He even changed his top-grade magic artifact to an extreme-grade magic artifact. Seeing the top-grade spirit stones attached in the extreme-grade flying magic artifact, she realized what was going on. People could forge extreme-grade magic artifacts here, but where would they get top-grade spirit stones? Other than a rare few immortals, most immortals wouldn't prepare spirit stones. The worst they had were low-grade immortal crystals. But in here, spirit stones were useful. 2 days later, Yimo suddenly stopped. He looked at the purple in front of him and fire popped out of his eyes. 6-winged purple radish, Zhen Bingyu called out in shock. She fought with 2 abstruse immortals over 4 before, but now there were 100. She even heard Yimo gulp. She looked back at Yimo and shook her head. This pill master Yi was too lacking in maturity. The 6-winged purple radish was indeed very valuable, but as an immortal, he was about to drool when seeing good things. He didn't have the mannerism of an immortal at all. It was no wonder he couldn't control himself. What do we do with these? Zhen Bingyu asked. 1 to 9. I take 90%, you take 10%, Yimo said without hesitation. Yimo thought Zhen Bingyu wouldn't agree, but unexpectedly she agreed without hesitation. Okay, I agree. Yimo thought Zhen Bingyu wouldn't agree, but unexpectedly she agreed without hesitation. Okay, I agree. Yimo was dazed, but he immediately realized Zhen Bingyu couldn't do anything here. Even if he gave her nothing, she could only succumb to fate. Despite realizing this, Yimo didn't change his mind. He wasn't going to change his promise. I'll go collect them. Zhen Bingyu was very proactive. She knew she pretty much got these for free while doing nothing. As soon as she took 2 steps forward, Yimo pulled her and she fell back. If Yimo didn't move back, she would be in Yimo's arms. What are you doing? Zhen Bingyu asked coldly. She wasn't afraid of Yimo insulting her body but scared that Yimo would take her virginity essence. That way, her cultivation would be greatly compromised. Virginity essence was good for cultivation. Plus, her heritage cultivation method had a strict requirement on this. Yimo wasn't going to be interested in such a boring woman. He said coldly, "Can't you see what I'm doing?" Without a need for Yimo to say anything, Zhen Bingyu saw that there were tens of level 2 immortal spirit beasts and 1 level 3 around the immortal spirit herbs. Swamp tiger crocodile, Zhen Bingyu called out in shock. These were immortal spirit beasts in the depths of the swamp. They couldn't fly but they were extremely fast. Their hide was tough and had immeasurable strength. Their beast essence power wouldn't be limited by the swamp and were much more powerful than ordinary immortal spirit beasts. Even a golden immortal peak stage might not be a match for a level 2 swamp tiger crocodile, much less tens of level 2 swamp tiger crocodiles and 1 level 3. Even though they couldn't fly, cultivators with flying magic artifacts might not be able to get away from them. They could jump 10 meters high and could join up to form space bindings. Yimo knew the value of swamp tiger crocodiles. They didn't have beast cores, but they had beast essence crystals. They were worth much more than beast cores. High-level beast essence cores could be used to concoct some special pills as well as high-level runes. They could even help immortal spirit beast pets break through. The swamp tiger crocodile's skin and bones were top-grade forgery materials. These swamp tiger crocodiles had dispersed, surrounding them. What do we do? Zhen Bingyu looked worriedly at Yimo. She had used her only instant transmission rune. Yimo frowned. He wasn't afraid of them, but if he fought his power would be exposed and Zhen Bingyu was here. But he really couldn't kill her to keep his secret. The swamp tiger crocodiles roared. They were slow, but they didn't stop, probably because they didn't know the two's power yet. What are you thinking about at this moment? Zhen Bingyu suddenly asked. Yimo knew he wasn't going to die, so of course he thought of nothing. But now that she asked, he thought of Susu, Qingxue, Jingwen, and them. Yimo's face also appeared in his mind. I'm thinking, if I don't die here today, perhaps I might accomplish Master's wish and become a status immortal one day, Zhen Bingyu murmured, seeing that Yimo didn't answer her. Yimo sneered. You won't die today, but if you want to become a status immortal you should wake up. His Dao heart was completely different to Zhen Bingyu. He felt the Dao meant experiencing all facets of life. He definitely didn't believe that someone who thought their body was just flesh and bones would reach the top of Dao. Just when Yimo was about to attack, laughter sounded. That speed was countless times faster than his extreme-grade flying magic artifact. Good, good, these swamp tiger crocodiles are trash, but these 106-winged purple radishes are good. My, Feng Timos, luck is indeed the best. A grey-robed man appeared. Yimo didn't scan him, but from his ferocious Kai Yimo knew that this man's cultivation level might be much higher than his. A level 2 swamp tiger crocodile heard this and charged over with a roar. That man didn't care at all and punched. Seeing this punch, Yimo's eyes narrowed. He clearly saw that space itself was about to condense under this punch. Asterisk thud asterisk blood flew, and this level 2 swamp tiger crocodile was punched to a bloody mist by this man. There was no beast essence core nor bones. Yi Mo took in a cold breath. He knew he definitely wouldn't be able to do this. Immortal nirvana body immortal, Zhen Bingyu called out in shock. That Feng Timo looked at Zhen Bingyu and suddenly said, such an exquisite immortal. Good eyes, you can tell that I have an immortal nirvana body. He then scanned Yi Mo and shook his head. What a waste, he doesn't deserve you. You should be my concubine. Zhen Bingyu's face was calm. She didn't seem unhappy at all. Instead, with this man's arrival she might be saved. Yi Mo's face was calm too, but he was shaken that this man was immortal nirvana body. He could tell this man wasn't immortal nirvana body primary stage. On top of that, this man was at least great immortal level. A great immortal with immortal nirvana body refinement. Even if he was a great unity immortal, he could run away from a great eternity immortal. The swamp tiger crocodiles realized the power of this man but didn't want to just retreat like that. Seeing this, the man howled and attacked the swamp tiger crocodiles. Thud thud blood mist sprayed in the air. The ferocious swamp tiger crocodiles turned into nothing under this man's punches. That level 3 swamp tiger crocodile was very smart and ran away. The rest of the swamp tiger crocodiles followed. The man didn't chase but looked back at Yi Mo and Zhen Bingyu. Yi Mo was feeling that those beast essence crystals would be worth some money. An abstruse immortal primary stage and a golden immortal primary stage dare to come here, the man said coldly. If Qian Bei has no other thing, then we'll go first. Zhen Bingyu saw that Yi Mo didn't talk, so she spoke. She knew that the 6-winged purple radish wouldn't be theirs. The man waved his hand. You're just going to leave like that after I saved your lives? Then what does Qian Bei want? Zhen Bingyu didn't know why Yi Mo said nothing. Yi Mo was thinking what his chances of victory would be if he ambushed this man. You stay. On your account, he can go. The man nodded. You're very good, good-looking and calm. I like such concubines. Sorry, I won't be your concubine. My Dao heart is firm. No one can stop me from pursuing the great Dao, Zhen Bingyu said coldly. You want me to kill you? How can you cultivate without a life? I never force anyone to be my concubine, but I saved you just then. If you don't be my wife, you need to die again. The man sneered. Yi Mo sneered back. Did I ask you to save me? If I say those swamp tiger crocodiles were my beast essence crystals and you just destroyed them all and I want you to compensate, what are you going to do? Zhen Bingyu looked at Yi Mo with a face full of shock, not understanding why Yi Mo was aggravating this man. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.